From Champaign, Illinois, this is the Jumping the Rail podcast with your hosts Mark Redmond and Mike Nartolinas.
Episode 15, Jumping the Rail podcast from Champaign, Illinois. This is Mark Redmond, and joined by my tag team partner, Mike Nartolinas. Narge, you didn't make the curling team this year for the Winter Olympics.
Not this year, but did you see the dude that was on the team? The guy with the mullet?
He was glorious.
That was awesome.
But, yeah, the Olympics come and gone. Raw will be back on USA starting next week, and everything will be back to normal.
Well, they were on USA last night.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing. It's all normal. So we got a guest with us today, Narge. You want to introduce him?
I do, yeah. One of my longtime friends, fellow wrestling enthusiast, friend of the show, Kyle Reed is here. Kyle, how's it going?
It's going good. How about you guys?
Doing pretty well. I will start off asking you the same thing I do every guest. Who's your favorite wrestler? And what got you into wrestling?
Stone Cold Steve Austin is my favorite wrestler by far.
Oh,
Is because I got into it by simply going through the channels at my great-grandparents' house. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Plus now my grandpa hates it, so I had to watch it.
Yeah.
So he wanted golf on always, but that's why got me into it. And Stone Cold's my favorite because he's every man's man. Just wants to beat the tar out of his boss and drink beer.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
He's living the dream.
What do you think? I mean, we could get right into it. I asked Mark earlier, but what do you think about the rumors? There's a chance old Stone Cold's coming back for WrestleMania 38, or is it 38? I don't even know anymore.
38, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the rumors him and KO gonna.
First time in 19 years they say he's going to lace the boots up. Yeah.
I don't think he's going to actually do it. I've heard it for a long time that he was done after the last time. Plus, he's got that neck injury that's. We don't know for sure that it could take a bump like that. Yes, he's done it in movies. Come on, he has crash pads, let's face it, or stunt doubles.
We have seen him take a few bumps every now and then when he's like, what comes to mind is when he refereed the Trump match in 07.
Oh, with Lashley and, yeah.
Yeah, and Umaga gave him a couple shots, and he took a decent bump, so.
For me, I agree with you, Kyle. I don't know if he's actually going to wrestle a match. I told Mark I see something similar in Texas where The Rock came out and wrestled Eric Rowan in 30 seconds.
Right.
I think Owens will come out in Texas, trash Texas. Austin
Stunner,
comes out,
goodbye.
Couple stunners, couple beers, pop the crowd.
That I could see happen for sure.
Yeah, it'd make the most sense to me. I mean, just him being there is going to be enough for the pop. He doesn't have to have a match to get over, as you know.
And it's in Texas, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is in Texas. They call it Jerrytown. You've been there for WrestleMania, Narge.
I was at 32, and the loudest pop the whole day was Stone Cold Steve Austin. That place is massive. You come in on the ground floor, and then we weren't on the field, but we were like field level. It's almost 8 walkways down just to get to the field level. That's how big it is. These long corridors. And I remember going down with Rachel. I'm like, where the hell are we going? Like, are we going to the basement? And you finally get down there, and it really is just as massive as it looks on TV. It's pretty crazy.
Well, I can't think of anything better to do in Cowboys Stadium than watch a WrestleMania. I mean, is there anything else really worth doing in Texas in that stadium?
No. I know UFC wanted to run there for a while. I don't think they ever did. So, am I missing something? Sorry, I'm reading on live, making sure people can hear
Football,
us.
sir.
Oh, football.
It's like God knows nobody wants to go see the Cowboys.
Are you talking about the Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys?
I don't have time for the Cowboys.
It's
not right now.
It's not football season.
No. Ready for baseball.
Yeah. I think hopefully in about a week and a half we'll actually have baseball. If the old lockout wraps up.
I'm hoping so. It sounds like they're going to delay spring training a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's all right.
ESPN's going to be showing some college ball games in the meantime. So,
Brianna's saying it's a little quiet, so I don't know. Do we need to turn our mics up a little bit?
I'm afraid to do anything until we can hear it.
I don't know what's going on. Just keep going.
All right, anybody that's listening, we're working on getting the volume and everything corrected here. I just want to make sure if you can hear us. So,
It wouldn't be a Jumping the Rail episode if something didn't go wrong. But in the meantime, Narge, I think we need to address the elephant in the room. The big story out of AEW this week, and I know it's on the tip of everybody's tongue. Brian Pillman Jr. moved back to Cincinnati this week. He is done in Jacksonville, and he wanted to go home, but he made sure to mention he is not done with AEW.
No, it sounds like Pillman was maybe partying a little too hard and kind of living the lifestyle more than he was expecting to, is what it sounds like. Maybe. So I think he did the right thing. Yeah. He's going to move home, kind of straighten himself out. And
plus, now that they're traveling again, he can just do everything out of Cincinnati. When they were working out of Daly's place every week, it made sense to be living in Jacksonville just to be there. You know?
Yeah,
but hopefully he gets it all figured out. Oh, there we go. I can hear me now.
Oh, wait a minute.
Put those cans on, boys. So, all right. I sound beautiful.
Check. Yeah, that's a little bit better.
Yeah, I can't hear you in my monitor, but I can hear me, and that's really all I need.
Yeah, I couldn't hear Narge either, but I can hear myself.
I can hear Kyle.
I got Kyle now. Is your volume down on the...
I don't know. Check. I've messed everybody's up. Mine's not doing anything.
Yeah, I'm fine.
He's going Charlie Chaplin this.
Yeah. All right, so I was of course being silly. It's Brian Pillman's not the big story of AEW. It's Cody. He's put out the statement last week that he's done with AEW, and the internet exploded because everybody has theories, they have thoughts, they have questions. So I'm just gonna. What do you think is going on with Cody Rhodes?
In the back of my mind, and I told you this earlier, I really hope it is just this elaborate work, and he is working everybody. And at some point, what I really liked was a listener of the show, Dwayne, shared an article where in a couple weeks, Cody's going to come back. He's going to bring some of these other WWE rejects that hasn't been signed yet and really give us the full-blown heel invasion angle that we deserve since the NWO. That's what I'd like to see.
Now, to be fair, about 60% of the AEW roster is WWE rejects.
Yeah, but there are some big names out there that haven't been signed up yet. What concerns me about my theory is EC3's deal he's got going on now too with his new company. So pie in the sky, Narge. Say Cody gets 3 guys to come back with him. Who are your 3 guys? It's got to be Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and I would go Tony Storm.
Ooh, interesting. Bring a woman in.
Yeah, I think so. You got to have, if you're going to do a takeover, then you got to have that because nobody wants to see Brandy. Brandy's already got heel heat. Yeah. So I think Tony Storm's the most talented that was released.
Out of all the women?
Out of all the women, yes.
Okay. General.
No, sir.
And I do like Tony. She's fun to watch. Kyle, what about you? If you had to pick anybody to join up with Cody in this theoretical invasion angle, who would you pick?
I agree with Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman. The third person, I would have no idea if there was 3 people. Who else has been released recently?
I don't think we have time to get into the whole list.
I know, but like the top names. Hardy, but that's not Hardy. He's going to be back with Matt.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I think it's going to be Brandy. The obvious answer is going to be Brandy just because they left together, so they might as well come back together.
Yeah. See, I don't think they need to be anybody that hasn't shown up yet in AEW. I think they could do it with Cody. I think Miro would be a good one.
Yeah.
He hasn't been getting a lot of time since he lost his title to Sammy. He might be hurt, though.
Well, yeah, and he's been out. Lana's out there, too. Bring them both back. There's really a lot of folks that you could pile together. I'd like to see Tony Storm. Yeah. So I'm just
and I know they're not big names, but 2 guys that could work their ass off and really complement that tag team division is they bring in Biff Busick and Danny Burch.
Yeah, that'd be great. I hear myself now.
Yeah.
Biff, I just noticed, has signed on for 5 shows with our favorite company, GCW. So
yeah,
he's going to get some time there on the best independent show on the planet.
All right, so if you're just joining us, we lost our audio in our ears, so we're hoping everybody can hear us all right. It's been kind of coming in and out, so hopefully we'll get this all figured out. But we're just going to keep plowing ahead. And so we've talked about what happens if Cody's will work. What happens if the rumors are true and he winds up going to WWE? Do you think we get him at Mania?
I think if they want to make this Mania one of the biggest of all time, then he absolutely has to. I know the night after, the Raw after has always been kind of the big deal, but from what I've heard, Vince is all in for Mania. But does he wrestle? Does he show up and cut a promo? That I don't know. I hope if Cody is making this jump back to the place he left and was so unhappy with, that he knows what he's getting himself into. I think we talked earlier that, after a month or two, I think the Cody luster will wear off. So
I think he'd get buried. That's Vince's MO.
Sticking back in a mustache.
See, I don't quite agree with that, because here's what I'm thinking, and this is something Bully Ray made a point of about 2 weeks, like when the story broke last week. If Vince wants to possibly get the ball rolling to get other people from AEW to want to come to WWE, he's got to make Cody look good.
Oh yeah,
Otherwise, they're not going to want to jump, and that's just going to just put everything on hold, So I think Cody he'll get that initial honeymoon period when he comes back. The crowd will pop for about a month. But then the question is how long? And I like Cody. He's not a main event guy.
Not in WWE. He's
not in AEW.
No, not even in AEW. He's got go away heat. I mean, the crowd can't stay. WWE would be best served to bring him in as a heel.
Oh yeah,
which he didn't want to do in AEW. Seems to be so. I don't understand that.
He doesn't get the option in WWE. If they tell him to be a heel, he's going to be a heel.
When he was in New Japan, he was was a heel there, right?
He was a top heel in Ring of Honor,
right? So
and then New Japan because he was with Bullet Club.
Yeah.
What if he comes into Coach Ziggler and Rude? Because they're all like the same type of wrestlers.
Well, they could just go the Tony Khan route and just be a faction, be a 3-man group.
If he goes to Mania, who do you want to see him with?
I originally thought Edge.
Yeah,
I thought that'd be cool. But I don't know. I mean,
now him and AJ would have a little history, right, with the Bullet Club. I mean, not necessarily
they
indirect,
weren't together
but,
in the
or
Bullet
not
Club.
direct, but it was indirect.
Yeah, they could do that. They could put him with Finn Balor. That'd be a hell of a match. The possibilities are endless. I mean,
Dwayne wants to know why Cody would go back to WWE anyway.
Money.
For the extra zeros at the end of his paycheck, Dwayne. That's why.
From what we heard, Cody was asking for CM Punk money from Tony Khan, and Tony wasn't willing to pony it up. So
Tony is working on a budget, from what I understand, and has made that very clear that he is signing a lot of guys, but he has a certain budget that he doesn't want to go over.
You can only ask Daddy for money so many times.
Tony got his own money.
Yeah, he also has his own soccer team. Thanks, Dad.
I hear jealousy.
No. It's not jealousy. It's just I could do his job better than he can. Just give me $5 billion and I could run a wrestling company too.
Right into the ground.
No. But I'm not here to ridicule Tony Khan, even though 9 times out of 10 he's got it coming. I know, Narge, you want to have him on your Christmas card list, and
I would love to have him on my Christmas card list. I wish he'd invite me to Jacksonville to hang out. I'd become a Jaguars
Tony
fan.
Khan has forgotten where he's come from.
The beautiful city of Champaign.
That's evident by the fact that Dynamite hasn't been in Champaign in 3 years.
Makes no sense. Definitely the opportunity's there. I mean, the Assembly Halls or State Farm Center, whatever you want to call it, doing
You're right,
business.
Assembly Hall.
Yeah,
It'll always be
They're
the
doing
Assembly Hall
business.
to me.
So, and WWE hasn't been here either. So,
No, they've only done house shows here anyway. They never did TV because I don't know why. I mean, you would think that they would at least could run SmackDown in the Assembly Hall.
I think they did years ago.
I don't know. I know the one TV show they did here was WCW Saturday Night. I was there for that.
Right.
As far as an actual live show, or for TV, that I don't know.
Speaking of live shows, I don't know if you noticed this when Brock came out last night, Narge, but they were really plugging the upcoming Madison Square Garden show pretty heavy in the morning.
Yeah,
and
that's
not in the morning, in the first part of the show.
First part of the show, and that's a Saturday show, right? So it's not even going to be, unless it's going to be taped for maybe a special or something.
I think it's just a house show. I don't think it's even a special. I think it's just they're trying to sell tickets for the for the Madison Square Garden.
Well,
show.
that's what I'm wondering, if they'll tape it for something that they release.
They may.
Who's Brock going to wrestle? Lashley's
Brock-
hurt, so
They said if Lashley can't wrestle, and he's going to have shoulder surgery, be out for a few months. They said they have a surprise opponent, so I don't know who it would be.
the Usos.
No,
Both of them.
That's too easy. It's gonna be a title match. It can't be a 2-on-1 title match.
What about the Usos' youngest brother from NXT? You bring him up and feed him to Brock.
Can I throw one?
Sure.
How about Veer?
Yeah, why not? We saw Veer last Monday when we were at Raw, and I thought he looked great.
Yeah, he looked damn good. I think they're just waiting to find the right angle for him to bring him on the TV.
Somebody mentioned that Cody needs to show up, and then Veer debuts against Cody. That's where, give him the Cody rub. So
Yeah. So you mentioned it, Narge. We went to Raw last Monday. Took your boys and your wife with us, and you're not a big fan of Raw.
I'm not, but first of all, shout out to Chad Patton who hooked that up.
Yes.
Really appreciate it, Chad. He's always been cool for years, and we had a blast. The thing is, I'm not a huge Raw guy, but being there live, nothing beats live professional wrestling.
Right.
My little boys were absolutely. I mean, I remember being that age, and couldn't have been anything better. My youngest, my 4-year-old, talked about it all day the next day. Wore his bro hat to school, and
Nice.
he just had a blast with everybody. So it was fun. It was a good time, and I thought we got a hell of a main event too.
Yeah, and by the way, Chad Patton, the Jumping the Rail Referee of the Year for 2021.
That's right.
By the way, unanimous. Everybody picked Chad Patton.
But that main event, Seth and Randy Orton,
yeah.
Doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, then they did the whole send the crowd home happy spot with RK Bro taking out the Alphas.
Yep. It was fun.
And I don't get a chance to do this often. I got to give a shout out to their TV crew on that show. It's they were really, you could tell they were just busting their ass, like getting everything all turned around in commercial breaks and things like that.
Marko, we can hear. Are you not? It's all right.
But yeah, it was a top notch operation there for those guys.
No, the guys just running back and forth. And then I don't know if you saw the changes at the announce table with the chairs and stuff. Like you said, just hauling ass. And then switching the ring mats. How many times they switched the mats throughout the
2
night?
or 3.
Just to keep them fresh.
They put the carpet on once for the contract signing, and then twice they switched out the mat altogether. Just, I think it was, I'm guessing COVID concerns maybe?
Well, they've done that in the past, and I think it's a visual thing for Vince. I think he doesn't want the sweat or the stains in the ring. That,
could be. I know when they used to do blood, they'd always switch it over.
Yeah.
Just to avoid ringworm and all that business. But yeah, it was a good show last Monday. It was a good show last night, too, to be honest with you, overall.
From what I saw, yeah, I wasn't feeling well last night, so I went to bed early. But the first 2 hours was pretty good. I think my favorite part was the Miz trolling the crowd with the Cody hints, only to bring out everybody's favorite YouTuber, Logan Paul. His sloppy. What's
Skull crushing finale?
It was terrible. Dominic sold it well, though.
Yeah, he's got some work to do before he's gonna be ready for Mania. But
this is working.
The Miz was just playing that crowd like a fiddle last night, though, talking about his guy, how he was dashing and from a great family. And it was great because you could see the crowd getting amped up. They were ready for Cody, and then here comes Logan Paul.
If they would have wasted Cody on a Miz against Mysterio tag team, that'd have been it for me. I would not watch. I'd have been done with WWE.
No,
I'd
you
been
wouldn't.
done.
You're all talk.
I'd have been done.
They're all talk. Everybody says, "Oh, I'm done with WWE." Then they watch the next week and forget all about it.
Loyal listener Stacy doesn't understand bringing in Logan Paul with the controversy surrounding him. Mark, explain.
So, just for everybody's information, Arch, what is the controversy surrounding Logan Paul?
I have no idea.
Neither do I. Stacy, my blushing bride on the thread there, if you know something we don't, feel free to call in.
I know he got his ass whooped by Floyd Mayweather.
Who hasn't?
Other than that, between him and Jake, though, I mean, everybody knows who they are. He's proven to be an athletic guy. Yeah. So, do you think he shows up and impresses us like Bad Bunny did last year, or do you think Bad Bunny still got a leg up on him?
If I know the Miz, he's gonna make Logan do the work.
Yeah. How 2 years in a row, Miz with a celebrity? You think it's a smart thing? Or?
I think that's because Vince knows Miz will work with everybody.
Yeah.
He can have a good match with anybody. And he's proven, and it's kind of a cliche term, Miz is a ring general these days.
Oh, yeah. Miz is easily one of the top guys in the company.
Oh, yeah.
Wrestling the Mysterios. Dominic's still a little green, but Ray,
Yeah.
I mean, is there anybody more seasoned in the company than Rey Mysterio that's in ring still? I mean, Ray's been around. Think about it.
He's been over 30 years.
Yeah.
He's been in the ring.
I don't even know who else would come close to Rey Mysterio at this point in WWE.
Nobody.
With no Taker, no Triple H, I don't think there's anybody.
So it's the right thing to do. Last year they did Damian Priest, and look what that's done for Damian Priest.
Yeah.
I mean, he's setting himself up, I think, for a big match at Mania too. So
yeah, we're still up in the air who he's going to face, but I don't know. It seems like he's angling for Edge, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
he wants championship material. So I told you this
With
earlier.
AJ.
I think Edge and AJ are going to wrestle unless they do a triple threat, which I know you don't like.
Right, or Cody.
Championship material, though, there's one guy. You know who's next?
Who's that?
It's got to be Goldberg. Got to bring Goldberg back.
Yeah, that fits in
Hey,
with
he's lost his last 4. He's due for a win.
Now, keep in mind, Edge was calling out the young talent in the locker room, and that's not exactly Goldberg.
Oh, you mean Priest was calling him out? You said Edge.
No. Edge in his promo was basically addressing the locker room.
Oh, I missed that. So that would make sense for Edge and Priest then. If
But
that
he
was.
said he wanted
And-
a phenomenal matchup.
Yeah, but he also said if somebody wants to live forever, they need to take him on, which is Priest. That's his catchphrase.
Well, and somebody said he
So there's a
mentioned
few Easter eggs in there.
undeniable too, which I guess is some sort of ode to Cody, which I don't remember, but somebody mentioned that on
Yeah,
Twitter.
Cody said something. He went from being unreliable to undeniable or something like that early on in AEW. But there's another name you mentioned that you wanted to see be the one to come and take on Priest, and that's Mr. Wrestling these days, the Long Island Ice Z, Matt Cardona.
How fantastic would it be to see Cardona show back up? But he's got to be able to wear his belts that he's collected. He's got to
Yeah.
show up with his NWA.
Yeah,
and
that's the thing. Cardona won the NWA World Heavyweight Championship last weekend.
well, and he won the internet title on
Well, he
TNA.
created that.
Well, he beat Jordan Grace back for it though.
That's
So-
the digital media
the
championship.
digital media, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, the Internet Championship is the one he created.
Right. No,
Then
I knew
he-
that. I couldn't remember the official name.
I think
of it.
he's the AIW champion too, right? In Ohio.
He might
last
be.
time-
Hell,
last
I don't know.
time-
He
last I
is
knew
the
he
belt
was.
collector.
Yeah, he's got the GCW Universal Championship somewhere in his house. The little
right.
spinner.
And then he was ECW's last television champion as well. So
Yeah, and we were there when he threw it in the trash. I still think that the referee should have taken it out of the can and given it to Morton when he beat him on that show.
yeah. So Stacy said, which I do remember this. Stacy bringing him in. The controversy was, he filmed someone hanging themselves. There was I think it's in China. It's some sort of forest where it's known for people going and. That was from a couple years back, Stacy, and since then he's done quite a bit of stuff. So I think, some of those things people kind of tend to forget about. You obviously haven't, and I know about that too. Since all that's happened, he's fought Floyd Mayweather and done a couple other things, and I think he even did some charity stuff after that to make up for it. But
See, other than his sporadic appearances with WWE, I wouldn't be able to tell him from Adam's House Cat, to be honest with you. I don't do a lot of TikTok or YouTube influencing or anything like that, so it is what it is, I suppose. But
Dwayne Carter'd like to beat the shit out of MJF. I'd like to see that, Dwayne.
That means-
book it, Tony.
that means MJ.
That's right.
So we kind of touched on GCW. Narge, there's some fireworks going on with Game Changer Wrestling over the weekend. Do you want to kind of get into that?
Obviously they had two great shows. Was it Saturday and Sunday? But the glaring omission from GCW was Atticus Kogar, who's one of our favorites. Booked both nights, and then no-showed both nights. And from what I read, there's a Twitter guy I follow, some backstage drama going on there, where I think Atticus has kind of left GCW. It had a falling out with Brett Lauderdale. From what I understand, there was a loud argument Saturday. And some of this revolves around a new company in California called Circle 6 that's going to have their first show coming up here in March. He's going there, Ricky Shane Page, a couple other guys. But from what I understand, this has kind of been building for a while. Maybe lack of respect, something like that. I don't know. I think there's going to be more coming out, but I really hate to see Atticus leave. I thought he was due for a big push this year.
Yeah.
This kind of explains why that hasn't happened. I think
Right.
Hammerstein and even the Detroit show,
Yeah.
they were foddered. I mean, they were just there to get their ass kicked,
And
then,
the Chicago show we were at, too, he was kind of
Yeah.
foddered out.
so
Plus, it explains why RSP hasn't been on since September.
yeah, there's obviously something we don't know about. I think the other thing that I'd read was this Circle 6 wanted to sign Nick Gage away for quite a bit of money, and that's what spurred Lauderdale to sign him up to a contract to kind of lock him in. So
Right. Which, if you're gonna, if you got a company trying to take away your top guy, then you're gonna want to try to lock him down, so to speak. I might be an unfortunate pun to make with Nick Gage about locking him down, but all due respect to the King, Nick Gage, he's a little on the chubby side, but he had a heck of a match on Sunday. Him and Tremont defended their titles.
yeah, against the rejects there, talk about a bloodbath. I mean,
Yeah.
those guys really thrown down.
Shout out our friend of the show, Kevin Gill, took a wicked shot with some light tubes on Saturday night.
Yeah, to the back of his head.
I know.
He was bleeding out on Sunday.
That
Even
Murdoch is a dick. I mean, wow.
he's shaping himself up to be a nice heel in GCW, which
Yeah.
they need.
Oh, yeah.
Cardona can't do all the work.
Yeah.
So, but
Just-
I think he's got to start winning at some point.
At some
Murdoch's
point.
won one match, I think.
Yeah,
since he's been there.
that bridesmaid thing Cologne's been spouting off about him is starting to become true.
Yeah, I think he's got to beat Cologne at some point. That I'm
Somebody, yeah.
you know. So
Because, I mean, Murdoch, he's got the heat. The GCW fans hate him because just all the shit he's been talking. And, yeah, I could see him eventually going on. I could see him taking on AJ Gray for that Extreme Championship, too.
it'll be fun. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. We're gonna do a shot here and hope
We're about to burn this place down.
and hope the technology works.
Yes.
No,
Sure.
I think it's a
So-
board.
Kyle Reed, thank you for the tequila. We appreciate it. He brought us
you're
our
very
favorite, Teremana. I had, between Mark and I on Saturday night, we went to see the great Randall King in Indianapolis. We had about a whole bottle of this.
Woo! Where we left off with GCW, and there's one guy I want to mention from the GCW show this past weekend, Narge. And that is everybody's favorite race car driver, Cole Radrick.
Man, Cole, they called him the Ratty Daddy.
Ratty Daddy.
Yeah.
He filled in for Alex Colon, who was hurt, so he couldn't make his match with Oren Veit, I believe. it was.
What was he calling himself?
Something wizard.
He was some sort of wizard with a cowboy hat, and I don't know
Astros
what
jersey.
He looked like a backyard wrestler. I hate to say that, Oren, if you listen. He
did a
looked
hell of a
like
job.
He did a great job, but he looks like anybody you'd see in a backyard fed. So
Yeah. Kyle, do you watch a lot of GCW?
I catch little videos now and then, usually with Nick Gage.
he's the man.
Yeah. The king,
The king
god
of
of
this
this shit, all that stuff.
all that good
Or,
stuff. Yeah.
or Cardona recently.
We were talking about being gang affiliated earlier today, and we were talking about motorcycle gangs. You know, they're cool, but
Or clubs, depending on who you
we're Mark, myself, and our usual special guest host Kyler. We're the MDK gang. We got jumped in Chicago, so we're affiliated.
I feel like one of us needs to change our first name to be a D in the initials, if that's going to be true.
That would make sense. Well, I was telling Kyler it would be what the hell were we saying? Oh, it was Murray, Dad, Kyler. So we were all gonna wear shirts to a show.
Awesome.
We could do Mark. Yeah, I'd be Dad, and then he could be Kyler. We got it. So
I like it.
I'd love to get Nick on. Yeah, I hope he's taking care of himself. I
Yeah.
feel he looks very. So I watched Dark Side of the Ring, and he looks currently very similar to how he looked when he was starting to have problems years ago in CZW.
Mm-hmm.
He's really ballooned up, which I don't understand. Right now, this is the hottest he's ever been in his entire career. I mean, he's essentially the reason GCW has kind of done what it's done.
Him and Cardona.
So, yeah, between those two.
Can I ask a quick question
Yeah.
with Nick Gage? Is there a reason you think on why they're going for the tag team championships and Nick's not going after the heavyweight championship?
I think they've got something in the works for Moxley. I don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So other than Gage, who do you think would be the one to beat Mox for that title?
I'd love to see Effie.
You think so?
I
Yeah.
agree.
He's the guy.
Rocks.
Effie, yeah.
That's,
I got a lot of. It sounds like I'm calling 911. What did you do to my mic?
maybe Big Vin is.
Mine's
It is
echoing.
slowed. Okay, that's better. It was like slowed down, and So no, I think Effie's got the most back. He's got. Oh shit, that's me. That's very loud. He's got the most support behind him.
Yeah.
Now, do you want a babyface against babyface? I don't know. Who are you putting up against Mox, Mark? You got somebody in mind.
So,
Come on.
If you're gonna go heel, I mean, assuming he starts winning Murdoch, they would have a very fun deathmatch style match. I still think Cardona's right there.
Yeah, I mean, Cardona could have a longer run. I think at some point Mance has got to break away. Not even necessarily break away,
No,
but
just go
second
solo.
gear needs
They
a
need
leader,
Yeah.
and he's the guy.
Is Mansour the leader by definition of SGC? It seems like they're kind of an all-for-one kind of group.
Well, Eddie Kingston was in the group at one point, and I think he still kind of is,
Like
unofficially.
de facto? Like when he's there, he's in.
They've got a shirt out, and Eddie's on there, Effie's on there, Manders, who you don't guess. We saw Manders in Chicago.
Yeah.
Then I haven't seen him since.
He was on Saturday.
I missed it.
There was an 8-man tag. It was SGC against Gringo Loco, San Francisco, and a couple other
Talk
people.
about a guy who's kind of coming up, though, is Gringo Loco.
Yeah.
I think people are really starting to enjoy him, and he's got his own show at the Collective coming up WrestleMania weekend. It's the World on Lucha, hosted by Gringo Loco. So
Yeah, I love seeing what they do on the Collective. I've never had a chance to go, and obviously it's in Dallas, so we're not going to be able to make it this year. But
Well-
they do. They got Effie's Big Gay Brunch going on. They got the Lucha show. Obviously GCW Joey's Spring Break, I think, is going on.
they got 2 nights. One Joey Janela night 1, and then night 2 is the greatest clusterfuck. And if you don't know what that is, Mark, that is a Royal Rumble style match where anything goes. I mean, there have been, you name it. A couple years ago, they had the Walmart guys show up. If you've ever seen them, they're the black gentlemen that do all the moves in Walmart. They're like they showed up and were in this battle royal. So there have already been rumors of who they should bring in this year. I've heard everything from Izzy, NXT's Izzy, to
Izzy.
yeah.
She's like 13.
Billy Starks is 15,
Is
16.
he or isn't he?
How about Nick Wayne?
It's a she. It's a little girl.
It's not
Talk
a
about
he.
GCW, and Kyle, we're kind of shutting you out here a little bit, but we'll bring you back.
It's good.
We'll get
How about
back to
Nick? How about Nick Wayne?
Yeah, he's
AEW signed him up. He's all elite.
Here's the thing: he hasn't done much with AEW yet. It's
No,
like-
so from what I understand, Darby Allin showed up at Defy.
Yeah.
Offered him a contract, but told him he had to finish high school, and once he turned 18, so it's similar to like -1. He got some
Yeah.
years to go. Nick Wayne, first of all, so these are my only issues with Nick Wayne.
I bet we have the same issues.
He's very talented.
Yes.
I've seen that kid take some bumps that he probably should not take this young. The kid's not going to be able to walk by the time he's 25.
Yeah, but younger people are like made of fucking rubber.
He is, but
That's true.
But Nick Wayne probably weighs 100 pounds soaking wet. He absolutely has to put some mass on.
Yeah.
He's very talented, but he has to put some weight on.
And Nick has that pedigree, too. He's a third-generation guy. His dad was Buddy Wayne, who was a big star in the Pacific Northwest back in the day.
Works some. He was some enhancement talent for WWE
Yeah.
too. So
But Nick has had a pretty good run lately with Jordan Oliver, his tag team, and then they had a match against each other on Saturday, I think it was.
and Oliver's one. He's one of my favorites. Ever since I saw him, I said this kid's got something.
The Clout Cutter.
The
Hey,
clout cutter.
hey, Dwayne, we'd love to see GCW get a TV deal too, so you could stop stealing it.
I think you two. Yeah,
I just want to get GCW in the Champaign-Urbana area.
one time.
That would be kind of cool. I think
I'd
they're the
love to
right
go.
thing.
I think we need to use our significant clout in this area to make that happen.
And the thing is, there are venues in this area. You saw what GCW runs, Mark. You don't need a civic center. You don't need a Palmer Arena.
Give me a Ukrainian cultural center like they have in L.A.
Over in Urbana, there is a Mexican church gymnasium thing. I've seen it over there. It's like
Right.
La Mas Gym or something. Anything like that. Or even
What
a
about
high
the-
school that'll give us a
Mark,
gym.
have you worked at the Independent Media Center near campus where the kids put a lot of like indie college kid bands together there a lot? I've never been there, so I don't know how big it is.
I haven't been there.
What's the gym? The Armory on campus. There's a track in there, and
Yeah, but I don't think they'll be up for
the blood and
crowd.
guts, yeah.
No, the crowd that's there's drinking beer and
Yeah.
I don't think that's the right venue there.
Well, I know Eddie Graham basically made a living off of the armories in Florida back in the 70s and 80s. That was his main venues, was just going to all the National Guard armories in Florida.
Now we do have a National Guard armory on University Avenue.
Urbana.
In Urbana.
Yeah.
Your dad used to go there.
You think it's big
Kyle?
enough to house a wrestling show?
Yeah.
I've said from day one that the City Center is the best possible venue.
It's a good venue.
That'd
The
be cool.
setup, because it doesn't. You don't need.
Well, they'd have to put the ring up on stage though, because that stage is permanent.
The stage would be the entrance.
Yeah, you do
Oh,
the
you'd do the
entrance.
stage and put them
the
out,
ring
and
on
walk
the
them in,
floor.
and
Yeah,
then
the-
you'd have what people up in the mezzanine.
Just floor seats. If you watch, so like we watched this week in Atlantic City. I mean, they do what, Mark?
400 people, maybe?
6-7 rows, and you could easily fit that pretty tight with the. Yeah, it would work out great.
That would work. Yeah.
We're not talking. Yeah,
I don't know,
400-500
man.
people.
I don't know if we can try and get GCW into the City Center because Dwayne's still pissed Hairbanger's Ball's not there.
We'll do a co-show. We'll have Hairbanger's Ball play on the stage,
Yeah.
and then after they're done, then have a wrestling show.
Oh, and then we can see if Brian wants to use one of the guitars and smash a guy. And
I have a very strict policy about breaking guitars over
Well,
people.
no, we're breaking somebody, not the guitar.
The thing about City Center is we saw him do Harpo's in Detroit,
Right.
which was it looked like a very small venue.
Yeah.
So I think it's possible, but again, you got to talk to the right people.
Dwayne said they had boxing at the Armory in Urbana.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So anything's possible, Dwayne.
When we watched on YouTube when they did that all-nighter thing last year, what is that building that they were working out of?
I wish I could remember. They were calling it like the GCW Training Center, but it was literally a bar somewhere.
a bar, yeah.
And it looked smaller than City Center for sure.
But
Because you could see the bar. I mean, it was literally next to the ring.
they were using the bar for high spots.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that was some of the most fun wrestling I'd seen all last year. Just when I was able to be at home and put it on,
I wish they'd have brought that back this year. I don't know. I think it was a COVID thing, but
maybe.
Everything is a COVID thing.
no, I think we're starting to see some light.
We're starting
though.
to see
I
some light at the
really
end of the-
think.
Well, we're going
I
to
hope so.
endemic stage is where they're headed.
Yeah.
Well, you know what we got going on in April, Narge. On
My birthday.
On your birthday,
Fozzie!
Yeah.
we're going to.
That's not short for fuck Ozzy either.
We're going to Wayne Campbell's hometown of Aurora, Illinois, for Fozzy on the Save the World tour.
Can't wait. Saturday night, early show, 6:45.
Yeah.
Hey,
So-
and any of our listeners that would like to go to the show, if you hit us up, direct message, we can give you all the details as far as where the show is, the hotel we'll be staying in. It's going to be a giant fucking party.
Yeah.
We're not paying your fucking way. We're just going to
No.
let you join us.
Hey, your wife again with all the great ideas here, Mark. Popping in says an,
Yeah, the fairgrounds is,
an
that was
outdoor
in my
event
head.
would
Yeah.
be fantastic.
And
She's so smart.
and you know what? I might actually know the person that runs the events there.
I park there every day.
Well,
Hey, does what's his name drive you in?
Who, Candy?
Yeah,
Every now and then he drives me back.
Candy Foster.
He's
local
not there
legend.
in the morning. He's there in the afternoon.
this shot is to commemorate the fact the fucking soundboard's working.
I hope I can keep this one down. Ugh.
Oh, wait a minute here.
Uh-oh.
Man,
Oh, Mark, yours right there, buddy.
It was hiding behind the Coca-Cola.
there is one.
Don't-
we didn't
don't
leave
pretend.
you
Don't
out.
pretend.
You have to drink Kyle's share tonight, too.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Chill.
I'm
Drink
glad
for me.
Stacy's picking me up.
Drink for me, fellas.
Ooh, it's getting worse and worse. I used to think that was so good. It's probably because between
It
the
is
two of
after
us, we
half-
drink an entire bottle.
After half a bottle, it's great.
We had so much on Saturday night. I woke up Sunday with the driest forehead. Like, I
He
just
had,
dehydrated.
he had an alcohol sunburns, what he had.
You know, my brother listens to the podcast every week, every show, but he listens on the podcast. He doesn't listen to the live feed.
Oh, so here's us after I bleep out all the cuss words and I clamp the audio? Oh,
Right.
wait a minute. We don't do that.
We don't do that. You would be so fired if he did that.
Dwayne, we agree. Candy Foster is a beast, man.
Yes.
Stacy, I heard they suck. Stacy asked if the Shitty Beatles were opening for Fozzy.
It's not just a clever name. But no, my brother, he sent me a message, I think after the last episode, was like, do you guys do some drinking on the show? I was like, yeah, why? is it?
Never, ever had a drink in our lives.
So just to let you guys, you can hear the cans popping when we're going. But sometimes
it's
that's
popping.
me with my Pepsi Zero sugars.
There's going to be Tequila Mike merchandise. Mark's already working
Tequila
on it.
Narge T-shirts. I'm working on it. If I can find somebody to mass produce them. So I'm actually, now that you mentioned, I'm going to put it out to our listening public. If we were to do like T-shirts, merchandise, things like that, who would be willing to pony up some shekels for that?
I'd be willing to sponsor them.
Well, that too. But
Yeah, what do we need for pro wrestling tees, Mark? Or I mean, there's
can do-
places here in town we can do stuff,
I can do
right?
pro wrestling tees. I mean, we could always. There's plenty of places. I know Kick Me Shirts does great stuff. Pete Blackman's company in Danville.
Like, there's one here in town, what, Truck House Tees,
Something
something
like
like
that.
that. I saw a few where
I-
they have options. So
Pro wrestling tees is doable.
I have a sister-in-law who kind of does shirts.
he does have
Oh.
a sister-in-law who and she does great. Jessica does great work. I actually got an invite in the mail today for something from her. I saw it
She
come
does.
through.
She does the vinyl based, right?
Yeah.
Because I have ideas for T-shirts, but it's just if it's not something people are interested in, I'm going to hold off on it. But it'd be cool.
I know I'm interested. I bet Dwayne Carter would wear one.
I bet he would.
Yeah. The
I'd
question is,
wear
would
one.
Dwayne Carter buy one? Because we can't actually afford to give them away. And I'm not being rude. I'm saying anybody that's interested, we're really happy you're interested. But understand, the interest level has to include purchasing because
Our newest
at
listener,
low,
Rachel, would buy one. I guarantee
at
it.
low on the POD scale, a shirt these days on a POD will cost
Boom.
about $25 to get it made.
POD, boom.
So you got to,
Booyaka.
so
I'd
you
buy
know,
one. Sure.
Six
and
one
then
that.
bulk. Let's say we went for buy 1,000 shirts. Well, then we need to have $2,500 or
You ain't got enough room back here to store those.
That's true. But I have a garage and a workout room I don't use.
I work at a
Clearly.
storage unit facility, so
Oh, wait a
we
minute. Wait a minute.
Hey,
Our
look at
latest the latest member jumping the rail just told us he runs a storage facility.
That's true.
We now have a business office.
Nice. If it's weather
Sorry.
controlled, then it might be a good studio once we get video going.
Well, a giant one where we can set a long desk and cameras. Oh fuck yeah! But you got to have great.
Find a place
fucking
for
internet.
our
We might have to have a permanent
that's out
new
the window then.
co-host then.
find a place where our flag will stay up. and not
Wait a
fall
minute.
off.
Keith Gibson says shirtwell.com. It's where you got the Clubhouse shirts, which, again,
Great
shout
shirts.
out to Clubhouse Lounge Radio. Great shirts. I wore mine. Keith, when did I wear mine? Oh, a couple weeks back. I was seeing Pecos and the Rooftops over in Boondocks in Springfield.
I haven't worn mine yet. I'm trying, and I'm actually trying to do this. I'm trying to wear a wrestling shirt every day before WrestleMania.
excuses.
So far, it's worked, but like I had to cheat today. Like I didn't wear this under my work shirt, but I changed after I got home so I can. So
That's
wore it
all I
yesterday.
wear. My wife was so glad to see other shirts. She's like, "Oh, you bought a band shirt? That's cool. So I don't have to see one of them wrestling shirts."
Rach, your wife kills me because you always tell me you'll wear a Terry Funk shirt or something.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll go like to some random place and people will always comment on your shirts.
Every time.
And the funny thing is, on my birthday in Muhammad, you guys went ahead of us. We were going to a Jordan Davis show, Country Guy.
Yeah.
And I was behind with Stacy and Rachel and your boys. And I was wearing my Terry Funk shirt. And sure enough, as we were walking, some guy just came up to us, "Hey, great shirt, bro." Never met the guy in my life.
It happens all the time. And Rachel looks at me and she's like, "I don't want to hear it." Speaking of shirts, and the thing what keeps me going is I subscribe to Pro Wrestling Crate. Everybody knows that. Check out the Narge-tastic Voyage on YouTube. I got you, Kyler. Plug. And my crate's coming this week. I already seen a spoiler. I've got a Nasty Boys shirt. The real Nasty Boys,
Real
not
ones.
the
Not the
ones
Dudley
Kyler
Boys.
knows. And then a Hangman Adam Page Ghost Rider ripoff. He's like riding a motorcycle. So that's cool, but the Nasty Boys shirt's awesome. I love the throwbacks.
I got a few coming from PWTs pretty
That's
soon.
some cowboy
I ordered
shit.
one of the new Regals. I ordered a White Bullet Club shirt because I'm going to the Squared Circle Expo in April, and there's a few BC members going to be there. I'm going to try and get them to sign my shirt.
I'm on the. I want to go. Again, it's waiting to see to April. Sammy Guevara is my guy.
Hey,
Wait a minute.
Hey, Narge, we got somebody on the phone.
One of my favorites. My favorite podcaster in the whole world.
Hey, I'm
Keith Gibson. Keith,
The
welcome.
lyrical, miracle, sexual, intellectual, the man made of steel and sex appeal.
here. Coming
Keith,
to us
what's
from
up,
the,
buddy?
So he will be joining GCW next week.
Yes, from the Clubhouse Lounge Radio crew, Keith Gibson. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, guys. How are you? I just wanted to hop on for a little bit. Thanks for the shout out. Appreciate that. And,
Oh, heck yeah.
Norge, yes, those shirts are, hey, just to give you guys a heads up, those shirts cost me like $5 a pop.
Oh, all All right,
You're not supposed to say that on the fucking air. Now we can't charge Dwayne $50.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. He won't know.
We'll autograph them, and then it's worth
Right.
$50.
Keith
we go.
just told us Dwayne wouldn't know. Does he not know Dwayne hears every word uttered on this show?
Dwayne is on this feed before we are.
Yeah, he's actually in the waiting room. Dwayne is awesome.
We're gonna
Sergeant
get Marko
Carter.
on this website. Well, I'm looking it up now, but
All right.
What's on
so,
here, too?
So, Keith, what's on your mind, man? We've talked about a few things, GCW, Cody Rhodes. What are you thinking?
Well, there's a lot, man. There's a lot going on in wrestling right now. It's kind of crazy. Cody, I think, comes to WWE and will come out in the next couple weeks. That's my thoughts on that. GCW, man, it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And before long, I think it may. I see it as a third promotion right now. What else is on my mind? I hate snow and ice.
Me too.
I got to go out with my wife and have a good time, and I feel a little hungover on Sunday. So it's been a great week. Been a great week.
Yes,
now
yes.
you know how me and Mark felt.
No, now you know how Narge felt. I don't get hangovers.
I was
I'm a responsible
hungover
drunk.
Saturday night. So
I think you were hungover Friday for the show we were going to Saturday.
Yeah.
that's possible.
He gets
You mentioned though that the Squared Circle Expo, I think it is great that they're doing it in Indy.
Yes.
And I'm kind of like Narge. I'm on the cusp of am I going? Am I not? There's some good talent there, but I think they're lacking like one major superstar. I really am.
So here's who I've heard so far, and I've got both nights. I'm going to be there both days. So they just announced today. I don't know if you saw this, Keith. Ruby Soho got confirmed for the expo, and
That does nothing for me.
yeah,
Nothing.
Shane Douglas, Jeff Jarrett. Who am I forgetting? That got
Well,
announced? John Morrison, got
Johnny
announced
Mondo,
yesterday.
Johnny Superstar. And Keith, I
Okay,
agree with you.
okay.
I've met a lot of these guys already.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Steiner brothers myself.
That I was about to say, and I met Scott. I've never met. No, have I met Rick? No, I have met Rick. I
He's
did.
drunk. He can't
WrestleMania
remember.
32. So I've met a majority of these folks. Sammy Guevara is my number one.
Right.
He really is. I love him. I think he's fantastic. I really do. He's great. Wonderful.
All I know is I got an ass load of title belts I need to get signed by these people.
Are the Ass Boys going to be there?
I haven't heard. But Keith, while we
How
got
many title belts is an ass load?
That's a great question. That's what I was getting ready to ask
take?
too. I mean,
how many
an ass load
belts
is
can
a
you
lot.
take?
well, I'll tell you how many I own. I don't know if I haven't tried insertion yet, but I've got 1, 2.
Stacy sounds
Be
like you have
careful.
a weekend.
Be careful with the buckle.
I've got 5 adult like full size, and then I got 3 of like the toy belts.
I've got 2 adult full size. One, so you've seen it. I've got the I got the big gold.
Yes.
Keith, and it's
I know.
it's got the
I
Ric
like
Flair-
it.
And
That's my
the only-
favorite.
The only people who have signed it are people that held it.
I'm-
I'm missing a couple. Sting is one. He's actually
Mark?
going to be in Chicago.
He needs to hand us the belt so we'll have held it and then we can sign it.
Right.
Mark's held it. He saw it.
I have held.
Did you sign it?
I did not sign it.
That's
You-
rude.
I didn't
fuck
win
it
it.
up.
I didn't win it though.
So Keith, my goal for this belt is one name and one name only. I know Mark knows who it is. I don't have Sting, but he's not my ultimate goal. I got Hulkster, and after Hogan, there's one.
Sucks.
Mark, who is it? Who's the one I need?
That would be
You got Flair.
the
Yep.
star of Ready to Rumble
That's
himself, David Ignatius Arquette.
It's Officer Dewey from Scream. I need David Arquette
that'd
on
be
this
awesome.
Dude, that would be awesome.
belt. He's the one, man.
Isn't he on the like the show circuit and all
a
that?
couple
now?
of he is, and I've missed him a couple of times. But I've got Steamboat, I've got Flair, I got Scott Steiner.
I have a big gold myself, and I'm hoping to get Jarrett, Steamboat, and Luger to sign it
I
at
got
the
Jarrett.
expo.
Jarrett's actually got the nicest signature.
Is it a
You
good
know who I
penmanship?
got? My favorite one on the belt, because he only held the belt for like 2 weeks.
Let me guess.
Yep,
Muta.
it's the Great Muta. I went to
Muda or
WrestleMania.
Muta?
Muta.
Muta.
M-U-T-A.
I went to
Muto.
I went to WrestleMania
Great
32,
wrestler.
and we did WrestleCon, and there were 2 guys I had to meet, and I got both their autographs, and that was the Great Muta and Tully Blanchard.
See, here's the thing, though. Your big gold is a WWE big gold.
It is.
Mine is the NWA big gold. It doesn't have that WWE logo on it.
Oh, it doesn't have the shine, the prestige.
Dude,
the-
I almost brought it with me because I just got this thing like a month ago, and you haven't seen it yet.
It's kind of the Burger King version of Chicken McNuggets.
I keep it in
Mark
a
wants to show me his big gold.
I keep it in a velvet bag just for protection.
This is getting strange.
It's getting weird. So Keith, while we got you here,
fantastic.
there's a
Yeah.
topic. There's a topic
Yeah.
we haven't gotten into yet, and I'd love to get you guys, you and Kyle both. The Undertaker
Tequila break.
Ah,
All right.
tequila.
Tequila.
So
Keith,
let's let the
you-
Undertaker
Keith, you
first.
got
I'm
a
going to find a
beverage?
really quick
Keith, you drinking, buddy?
song for that.
I
Tequila
am
breaks.
not right now.
Damn.
Nope. I've been actually working on stuff for the radio station and trying to get some stuff done for it. We've got the big party bus coming up on April the 9th. Everyone's invited. I've got a few spots left, so that's a quick plug for that. $40 person. Goes 4 different dive bars. Don't have to drive. Leash Mel Toro at the Fields in Champaign and drops you off same place.
You said dive bars. Did you happen to
Yes.
contact Garth and see if he might want to stop by one of them?
I did not. No. I'm more interested
For
in
next year.
USS
Let's
El
do that for
Toro.
next year.
There's tequila.
Okay.
El
All right.
Toro.
So we got a little more chest hair on each other's torsos now after this tequila shot.
Actually, I got it on my own torso, not on yours.
Well,
but I just wanna be
everybody
clear about
on their collective torso.
all right, Mark, what
So-
you got for Keith?
So
What you got for me?
we got the Undertaker. He got announced that he's going in the Hall of Fame finally. And here's my question to you, because I have my opinion and Arch has his. Is he the only inductee this year?
I hope not, because I don't think he should.
Really?
I do, and here's why. Because
Tell us
no
why you're
other
wrong.
performer has been the only inductee. I think there's a plethora of guys who deserve it, who aren't in yet. But I don't want to see him be the only one. Does his career?
Narge will be sending you flowers this week.
Does his career say yes? Will we ever see another one like him? No. But if you're going to do a Hall of Fame ceremony and make it worth it for the fans, because your product stinks right now, so you want to do everything you can for the fans, you've got to have more guys in there.
I love you, Keith. You're saying everything. So
So,
I
Narge, who?
All right,
So, first of
hang
all,
on. So
newbie time.
Yeah,
What are the, and I assume they exist,
requirements.
requirements to be inducted? To be a
Vince
member?
McMahon has to like you.
You have to have been a pro
There's
wrestler.
there's no 5-year retirement.
You don't
rule.
have to be a
There's
pro
no-
wrestler.
You can
James
still
Dudley
be
proves you
wrestling.
don't have to be a pro.
No, but he was involved with the company.
So there's really no requirement. And
Okay.
honestly, it's are you in Vince McMahon's favor and will it pop a rating? That's what Vince cares about.
Wasn't Ric
that's
Flair
it.
inducted while he was still wrestling?
A lot of guys.
WrestleMania?
Yeah, well, Edge,
Well, Edge,
look,
okay.
and
Yeah.
you know,
Goldberg.
So
you
Narge,
know.
so Narge, if I'm hearing this right, and you believe, Mark, that only the Undertaker should.
He
There
does.
should be
Nope.
a very isolated. It's
I'm
him.
agree with you, Keith.
Up him.
I'm
Narge
gonna-
doesn't think so. So Narge, who else do you think should go in with him? Because let's not sully
So-
it by pulling in some like.
It's
junior
time
rookie.
for Narge's opinion.
Yes, it's time. So, first of all, I want to agree with Keith, and I told Mark this the other day. Okay, The Undertaker by himself. Hogan didn't go in by himself. Ric Flair didn't go in by himself. Stone Cold Steve Austin didn't go in by. All of those guys deserved that honor.
Has The Rock gone in?
The only
yet.
guy,
He
the
has
only
not
guy,
gone in yet.
now, he's
Go
going
wait.
no
Next year
because
they're in L.A. I think
he's
that's
coming
when he goes
next
in.
year after he beats or after him and Roman wrestle and
Or-
Roman
well,
beats
technically
him
before it'll be the like before WrestleMania.
or before. So for me, the only guy that went in by himself was Andre the Giant. A lot of people compare the Taker to Andre. I get that, but Hulk Hogan, he built WWE. I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
He
We
revolutionized what
talked.
pro
Was it
wrestling is.
our last episode? We talked about who the biggest, most
So,
influential
Keith,
people. And he-
my
Huge
thought,
asshole.
Keith, my thought, Hulk. Hey, brother.
Listen here, brother.
Keith, my thought here is, all right, well, let's put Taker in, but let's put some of his greatest rivals with him. Number one of them being Vader. Vader deserves this. He's deserved it for years.
I do agree with that. Vader deserves to go in.
King Kong Bundy's not in. There are
Wow.
so many guys that The Undertaker has probably battled over the years.
Giant Gonzalez.
Let's
I was about
not.
to say
Hey,
that.
you better be careful. I'm gonna call Fonzie.
I know. I think I
Fonzie was
did.
Mark
Easy.
put his
I put
foot
my-
in his mouth.
I really did, and I felt really bad about it.
But at least his
That might
toenails
have
were
been
trimmed
my
when he pulled it
that
out.
might have been my favorite moment of the podcast,
man.
though.
I felt so bad when I did that. I love Fonzie. He's a great
Well,
guy. I still talk to
here's-
Fonzie every now and then.
Here's my other thing too. You got to have a tag team in there. I think every year because there's so
Demolition.
many tag teams that aren't in there. You look at the Steiner Brothers, Demolition, the British Bulldogs, Midnight Express.
There you go.
Midnight Express.
That's it.
Absolutely.
Midnight Express.
You know, these are teams that revolutionized tag teams in the 80s and 90s too, and aren't in the Hall of Fame, and most deservedly so. I mean, I just don't know how they're not in yet.
I'm going to take over the pod. We talked about it earlier. Mark wanted to get into it weeks later. I'm going to get into it right now.
Uh-oh.
Keith, give me 3 guys. We're going to go around the table who absolutely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame right now that aren't in. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm
Kevin
joining.
Sullivan.
Oh, yeah.
Great call.
Bundy. I would agree with you on Bundy.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I would either put in the Midnight Express or the British Bulldogs as far as tag teams go, because I think a tag team needs it. Steiners, yes, I think they deserve it too. Or Demolition. Actually, I'm gonna go Demolition.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's my problem. Demolition, I agree, definitely needs to go in. I don't know that they're going to go in anytime soon with this lawsuit that's going on with the CTE thing with Axe.
Yeah, fuck the legalities.
Right.
Kyle,
Yes.
Yes, sir.
3
Three of them.
entities,
Three
individuals,
acts.
teams, whatever.
Yeah.
I would agree with Vader. How about Evolution?
As a group,
As a
that's
group.
not bad.
Interesting. Orton's still active, but they were a hell of a group back in the day.
But who else is?
Batista's not in yet, I don't
He's
think.
not at. Did Batista go in?
No.
No, he's not.
Wait, yes, he did.
Yeah,
he went in
he
last
did.
year.
He's
Yeah,
in.
he did.
Orton's
Yeah.
the only one that hasn't gone in yet.
So
As a solo,
yeah.
he went in.
Yeah.
Triple H hasn't by himself.
No, Triple
No,
H. Yeah.
he hasn't. He's gone in as DX, but not
Yeah.
by himself.
Correct.
I like it.
It's a good call.
That's what you're on, Kyle. Right there.
I'm
That
sorry.
kind of outside of the
I gotta
box.
be.
You're angling for a
Warren.
full-time.
Dwayne says Big John Stud. And he's
He's
not
in.
wrong.
He's in.
He is in.
He got in class of 04.
Dwayne. Sorry.
Sorry, Dwayne. You gotta read the
Try
same books.
again.
You
How
gotta read the
about-
same encyclopedias
How
Mark
about
is
the
writing.
Rockers?
The Rockers?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
a
they're
bad
not
idea.
in.
They never won the world tag titles, but
All right,
they're.
I'm gonna
they
go
were
before
very
the-
They were
impeccable.
just like Bushwhackers. I mean,
I love
Bushwhackers
the-
didn't really.
I'm
I
gonna
love
go
the
for the
Bushwhackers.
host.
But
Actually, I'm gonna go before
but the
host.
Bushwhackers got
I
in
have
also
dumb
the
it
sheep
down.
herders.
I
stuff,
have
too.
2.
Oh, okay.
The
But
sheep herders.
I have
Oh,
3
the
for
sheep
sure.
herders.
I think the Rockers for that
I
time
love the sheep
period.
herders, though.
Well, okay, so I've been told The Rock's not in yet, so
Right.
duh.
Yeah.
He'd be number 1.
He's the most obvious.
Has Cena already been in?
He is not in.
So then Cena would be number 2
Well,
because he
Cena's
honestly
talking about
is.
wanting to come back. There was an interview this
That's
week
okay.
where Cena said he's got 10 years worth of stories if he could be a heel, which I agree with. I don't know about
definitely
10.
agree.
Why not?
But
Why not?
why? Yeah, why? I mean, look what it did for Hogan at his age and Cena. How old's? That's what somebody needs to look up. When did
I
Hogan
am-
turn heel? How old was he? And how old is Cena?
Hogan was 42.
Okay,
Cena's
how-
44.
Cena is about the same age, about 42.
2 years behind.
43.
Hogan hit his fucking stride after a year and a half.
Because he got to be himself because he was a lousy friggin' heel.
This is it. Cena, make Peacemaker, but come back. Are you out of your mind, Mark? Mark, I'm about. Hey, Kyle, get the fucking tables. We're about to put Mark through
Hey,
'em.
there's a couple chairs, but those are not the folding
See, here's
wood
the thing.
plastic.
I-
Those are
I
wood.
listen-
They
Mark, go
fold,
ahead.
but they're wooden.
I listened to your guys' arguments, and I'm
right.
sit. No,
Kyle, the thing is, I wish you could
kinda
get
sit
the
in the
bar
middle.
with
If you
us.
could have
This
seen
is-
Kyle throw that bitch neck move at him right there, that'd
Kyle,
have been great.
this is tame compared to me and Mark
Have you
at
seen
the
my
bar.
wife?
Yeah, when we both have more tequila than this in our system, it gets a little.
The Hogan Savage thing from the last
hello,
episode.
invite me.
I'll be the went all night.
Kyle, while
I'll
you're
tell you
over there
what.
refereeing, I'm problem solving.
Go ahead,
All right.
Mark.
I'll say this. First off, that Hogan Savage debate's been going on for shit. How long have we known each other?
That's Savage. That abusive control freak.
You
Guys,
never
is
saw him lay a
Savage-
hand on
Hey,
Elizabeth.
is Savage in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
He is.
Then that's not part of the fucking discussion.
All right,
So
all right.
I said
Mark.
John Cena.
Cena,
That was my
Rock.
number 2. The Rock and
One more,
Cena.
one more.
I assume Stone Cold's in.
Yep.
He is.
Let me think for a minute.
Class of 09.
Who else do I know
Do
in
you know
wrestling?
anymore?
By the way, for those who knew the podcast, I don't actually know
Mark don't
anything
know
about
shit.
it.
Marko
I have learned.
is
though.
a novice.
I've been doing this for
You are
like
learning.
I've got good
14,
ones.
14 episodes now. I've
I
been
can tell
learning.
when I listen and that you're
you
learning
know,
more.
it's getting a little better.
That's how my wife is at home too. She's learning.
I think
as
you
we
know,
go.
and I know he's not WWE. He's never been in the WWE.
That's not a
But I
prerequisite.
think a
He's gonna be wrong.
really cool, odd, creative thing to do is put Nacho Libre in.
Nacho Libre.
'Cause that shit was fucking
has done
great.
something. All right, so those are good. For me, my 3, Vader. Vader's number 1. He's my favorite of all time. It's got to be Vader. Mick Foley is pined for Vader. Why is Vader not in? Okay, Vader. Number 2, the man who led the Extreme Revolution, the guy who kept it going forever, other than Paul Heyman's Tommy Dreamer. Yep. Number 3, Rock and Wrestling Connection, Cyndi Lauper.
You know what?
In the 80s,
Ah,
Cyndi
we did-
Lauper
Well, her and
bridged
Captain Lou, man.
I-
pop culture and
I
pro
like
wrestling.
it. Now,
I don't know.
Now, aside from the celebrity wing, what other wrestler would you pick?
Okay.
Because Cyndi Lauper's a great call.
Other wrestler, yes, it's got to be Cindy, right?
Is Captain Lou Albano in?
He is.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Because if he's not, you guys are
Other
fucking
wrestler,
morons.
it's got to be King Kong Bundy.
Bundy.
Yeah, Bundy. I
Bundy.
can't believe he's not in. I mean, I know who he was
Right.
from the 80s.
Is Rude in?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he
His
got
son
it.
was it his son or his daughter?
It was
Son.
Both, I think.
I must have missed that one.
And Rick Rude is one of my top 5 all time.
You know,
I love Ravishing
we're
Rick.
all missing probably the one that should be in
Uh-oh.
that everybody's looking over, and that's the Nugget, Owen Hart.
The Nugget.
And the thing is,
He is not a Nugget.
He is not a nugget. The WWE they really dropped the. Obviously Martha's not going to allow that. I can't wait for this tournament that AEW is doing.
Here's the thing: WWE never stood a chance to do anything with Owen because Martha made up her mind 20 years ago.
Yeah, it'll never happen.
I would love it if it did happen, but it won't happen.
Captain Naive here. Owen Hart is the one that passed away in the
Yes.
ring, correct?
Bret Hart's younger
and
brother.
then
Right.
and his wife has held a grudge ever since.
she can-
Obviously,
well,
which
she
well
can-
deserved.
She
well
can
deserved.
hold her grudge, but I'm sorry. Owen Hart literally gave his life to the sport.
And that
If
was Bret's-
anybody deserves
Yeah.
to be
Like Brett is,
you know,
is
an
is all for
honorarium at
Owen
the very
going in.
least.
Who did the Mark Henry did the
Yeah,
Mark
he
Henry
lobbied for it.
cried
Yeah,
because he said that Martha should forget her feelings and think about the fans who built.
now Martha can
He
I
didn't say
can't go
necessarily
there.
forget her feelings,
No.
but that
Put it
that
beside.
she should respect the feelings of the fans who want to appreciate Owen.
I think that's a different way to put it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I think she should acknowledge the fact that so many people love this guy, that he did make a huge impact, and that he did again give his life for this sport. Let him be honored at what they consider the top level of the sport. Let the fans be there for that, And if she's going to do something, she can do. She tell Vince, you know what? You can put him in there. You can do that, but I want you to open a fund for $100,000 in his names to support some charitable,
And-
that would be amazing.
Well, and
they do enough charitable stuff. They probably would do that.
And
Right.
I think what
That's
she's
what she
worried
should be
about
looking
is
for.
them making money off Owen.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
But
is
how about
turn
you
this
don't
into
sign-
charity?
We're not going to do action figures. We're not doing that. We want to. You don't even have to do a speech. We can do similar to Brett when he went in. We're going to put him in, and that's it. You show
He
a
doesn't
video.
show up the next night.
Yeah, none of that.
Yeah. All right. So I guess it's to my 3 guys.
Oh, Dwayne.
Take a shot
Hang
tequila
on.
first there.
Dwayne said Lex Luger, and he is not wrong.
No.
I love Lex Luger. I wouldn't be opposed if he did, but he's not on my list.
He's alive, and that's where I want to see that's my issue with Vader. Is they had the opportunity.
They really did.
He
And
knew that Vader was.
Well, he put Hansen in.
Yeah,
He inducted Stan Hansen
was
in
there.
the Hall of Fame. You were there.
I was there, and I loved it. And
Yeah,
I bought a Stan Hansen Hall of Fame shirt that
I love
night,
Stan
but
Hansen. He's so
to
good.
see Vader there, I had met Vader a couple months before. It's one of my favorite pictures. Me, Rach, and Kyler with Vader. And
How giddy were you when you met Vader?
schoolgirl. We took 10 photos because Vader's like, "Is it
change
good?
of pants.
Is it good, brother?"
You got to change of pants in the bag.
Oh yeah.
I want to tell you about that night real quick before I get to you. Sure. We were at I don't remember Pro Wrestling Blitz. I don't even know what the company was called. That night,
The
a
same
guy.
one we went to?
No, it might have been. I don't know. So that night, I met Vader. 2 guys are signing autographs. They weren't on the show. A couple guys named Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa were signing
Who the
autographs.
heck were those guys?
Never heard of them. Another guy was in the main event, Moose.
Moose. What kind of name is
Yeah.
Moose? He sounds like an offensive lineman from the
And then there was a
Patriots.
surprise appearance by a returning star named Mustafa Ali.
Oh, that guy. Wasn't he a cop?
And this, also that night I met, no, never mind. We met Scott Hall and Stevie Richards later. But that same show, like, this was in a little dive. I think it was like a VFW in LaSalle, Illinois.
Yeah.
All of those guys, we're talking big time guys now. A guy by the name of A.R. Fox, who is very underappreciated.
I am a big fan of A.R. Fox.
He's doing some GCW
I
stuff.
saw that.
Yeah.
Is he working Blake Christian?
I think it might be. Who is one of the? He's the golden boy. In
Oh man,
GCW.
he worked Impact this past week.
Yeah, he did. He's great.
All heart, baby.
All right, Mark, your 3. Give it
All
to
right,
us.
here's my 3. Number 1, I agree with Vader.
It's got to be.
Absolutely agree with Vader. Greatest. One of the. Next episode, we're doing a top 10 big men in wrestling, and he is definitely on the list.
He's number 1.
Narge is
So-
number 1.
So, Pain Train is
Pain
number
Train.
11. Pain Train is number 11. So Vader, I'm with you, Keith. I say Midnight Express, greatest tag team of all time. They're my favorite tag team of all time.
Bobby Eaton's one of the guys who should have been in WWE at some point. Vince wasn't going to take that Southern drawl.
No.
And
Here's what happened, because Jim Cornette talked about this. They went and met with Vince. He wanted the Midnight Express, but he was explaining how they're going to sell action figures and all this, and they couldn't understand why people would want to buy their action figures. So they didn't think they were going to make any money off of that.
he signed Stan Lane, but Stan never
was
never wrestled,
he,
right?
He had retired. He was
was
doing
the announcer,
He was
yeah.
doing interviews.
He was great.
But so I say the Midnight Express with the caveat that Corny goes in with him,
He's long overdue.
because Jim Cornette is very overdue. I hear Ring of
Agreed.
Fire in the
Is that
background.
Johnny Cash?
So Midnight Express or Vader, the Midnight Express. My number 3, the Loose Cannon.
Yeah.
Brian.
I have no problem
effing
with that
Pillman.
either.
Just for number 1, I'm going to cut you off.
Go ahead,
I'm
Mark.
sorry.
No, I'm going to throw this in here because we've named so many guys, and there's so many more we could name. Each one of us could probably name
the
another
list is endless.
3 that deserve to be in the Hall of Fame and aren't. And it's a
Double A, yes.
double A
love
as a singles guy. How many times did he have the TV title?
2 or 3.
Yeah, it's just there's so many guys. And that's what irritates me is
Keith, we have to make room for Donald Trump and for Mr. T.
No, wait.
and
The celebrity wing is different.
Pete Rose. No.
Coco Beware.
Coco. Yeah, Coco Beware. Come on.
I
man.
love Coco, but come on.
That
But
was
no,
a waste.
Double A should definitely be in. Triple H should be in, to be honest with you. The list is endless of who should be in. But with Pillman, number 1, what he did for the junior heavyweights in North America in the early 90s is massive.
They put Liger in, and he never wrestled. He wrestled one match in the whole WWE.
Yeah.
NXT, you know?
Yep, but Liger deserved it, though. Liger's awesome.
I don't disagree that he didn't deserve it.
But Pillman...
But didn't Liger have a run in WCW? Didn't him and Pillman have some fantastic
They had-
matches on Clash
Well,
of
and that's
Champions?
what I'm
had great
saying,
matches.
Keith, is that's where Liger
made his North American splash
with
in
Pillman.
WCW.
So the fact that
and with Mysterio, by the way.
and Mr.
Started.
Yeah, but the fact that they put him in and not Pillman, who wrestled in WWE.
But Pillman, but on top of that, you know, the Hollywood Blondes and with Austin, the stuff they did was so good. And then, for my money, and I don't know if you guys will agree with me or not, when Pillman was with the Horsemen, when it was Flair, Double A, Pillman, and Benoit, I thought Pillman and Benoit would have been the best tag team in WCW if they had gotten a chance.
Yeah, some real loose cannons. A couple of
But they're both dungeon guys. You know, they're both Calgary guys. And they had a couple matches where they were teaming up, and they looked fucking great as a tag team. That would have been, and the Horsemen have always been 2 singles in a tag team. That was their formula.
Well, they put the Horsemen in. Why didn't they include Pillman?
They just did, for some reason, they just did the Wyndham group, which is, for my money, the best Horseman incarnation, which is Wyndham. But they didn't put, I don't think Ole wanted to go in.
Nah, well, Ole's an old.
Ole's a grumpy old guy.
So, all right. So here's my question to you guys:
Shoot.
when does Vince put himself in?
Never. He won't go until he dies.
Never.
Vince does not, and this sounds really weird.
His dad's in, right?
Vince's dad is in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've always heard Vince does not want to be mentioned or introduced at the Hall of Fame.
I've heard that as well.
He is introduced to
was-
right, Austin and
He introduced Austin, and he introduced
was it Dudley?
James Dudley, yeah.
Yeah.
And then he came out during the 04 ceremony and did a speech. But other than that, he's never wanted to come out and get any. So I think after he passes away, I think they'll put him in.
So
Hey-
then, who does Taker this year?
I think. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say this now.
God, Keith.
The most. It sounds
Kane,
awful.
Mick.
The most logical would be Vince.
It would
to be
be.
honest.
I don't think it'll be Mick Foley. Mick Foley's been very critical of WWE.
I don't think it's either. I think it's got to be Kane.
Kane is.
That's gotta be Kane.
If it's not Vince, it's going to be Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn
Bruce
Jacobs
Pritchard?
speaks
Bruce
very
Or
well.
Bruce Pritchard would be a good one. DiBiase would make sense. He's the one that brought him out for Survivor Series.
Who's Undertaker's biggest rival?
Mankind.
Mick Foley. But Foley's he's very
He's
opinionated.
become
But
a little
here's my question.
WWE. I know that.
Here's
yeah.
my question: would Mick Foley's respect for Taker trump his disdain for WWE?
It's I mean, his
I
son's
think
still
so.
working there, right?
If Taker personally asked him to do it, he would probably do it.
Oh yeah.
Well, if you go on the pure capitalism angle,
Or
Mick
Sean.
Foley will do it because
Or Sean.
Mick ain't making a lot of money these days, so he would do it for the money.
He's doing fine.
Well, I think
Yeah,
Mark, you
stand-up
made a very
comedy.
good point. Taker is going to pick who inducts him,
Oh yeah,
hands down.
Narge, you should put your name in the ring.
Yeah, should be me.
you met him. Say, hey, Taker, it's
I
Narge.
have met him.
Anyway, gentlemen, thank you very much. I gotta get off
Keith,
here. I gotta get
man,
kiddos
Thank
down.
you for
We're
showing
gonna-
up,
Thanks
Keith.
for letting me hop on.
We will have you on for a full episode again soon, buddy. Thank you very much.
That sounds good. Can
Just,
we not make it 3 hours this time?
Keith Gibson.
You'll need to breathe here, number one. Number two, you need to bring your liver.
Before you go, real quick plug.
Plug your stuff.
Quick plug. Tell us
Go.
about
Quick
what you got
plug.
going
Hey,
on.
if you haven't had a chance, jump on Clubhouse Lounge Radio, CHLRradio.com. Love music from independent artists all over Central, Southern, and Northern Illinois. We've got live sports all on one station. You can follow us on Facebook at Clubhouse Lounge Radio. We've got T-shirts to give away. We've got koozies, and going different bars and doing our back roads and bar stools tour coming up. So make sure you check that out too. Gentlemen, you're doing a fantastic job. I love sitting here. I could talk for another 2 hours, but I'd like to have a wife after I'm done.
Hey, Keith, just real quick. If I saw everything correctly, you're looking to possibly start up some kind of a news segment.
That's correct, sir.
That would
I'm
be
looking to
interesting.
assemble a news team.
That would be interesting. I'd like to see how that works
I
out.
left my conch shell at home.
I can tell you from here, the news is good. We're happy.
Well, good. That's fantastic. Yeah, no, I'm looking to actually put together a news team to start a Friday morning show so that we can do weather, sports, all of it, and then everybody can tune in there on Friday morning. So
Awesome.
that's what we're looking to do. So hoping to grow that and continue growing and take it to the next level, just like you guys are doing.
Love to hear it, brother.
Awesome.
All right, take care, guys. Talk
Later,
to you
Keith.
soon.
Thanks,
Bye.
Keith.
Bye, buddy. So, Marco, I think this might be a good time for a quick break.
It is now time for a tequila break.
When we come back, we got Top 10 Tuesday coming up and some other stuff.
So, thank you, and we'll be right back.
I actually don't disagree with Dwayne. Lex Luger is very deserving.
Yeah. I love Luke. He was one of them. All right, we are back.
I put
Thank
my
you
chips
for
up.
indulging us for a little piss break. I think Kyle needed a smoke, but we're all good. Narge, we had a hell of a chat with Keith, man. I mean, it wasn't exactly an interview, but it's great to have him call in, man.
I love Keith. Talk about a great personality. He's got a voice for radio.
And a face for radio.
Yeah. Keith. You hit the soundboard, Mark. It's not working. It's volume up.
Volume's up. I checked.
Oh, I muted his ass.
Give me a rim shot.
Go for it.
Well, that's weird.
Hey! All right.
With the soundboard problems we had earlier, I had everything down to the minimum so we could do this.
Speaking of a face for radio, Kyle Reed is back.
Hey!
Welcome back, Kyle.
What's going on?
Hang on a minute. He's gonna play Here Comes the Bride.
Probably. I have the chest for it.
When people see Kyle, they say,
Oh my.
Well, thank you, George Takai.
or Takei. I don't know. I think it's Takei like toupee, I think is what he said to William Shatner once. So,
Yeah, it was probably the last time he spoke to him.
probably. I think right before he said, fuck you in the horse you rode in on.
Right. Fuck you and your starship.
So something we haven't really gotten into a lot, Narge and Kyle. I'm going to make sure we bring Kyle in on this. This past Saturday, the Elimination Chamber show, man. They tied up a lot of loose ends before WrestleMania.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad show. I mean,
No,
it
I thought it was
wasn't.
a good show.
It was predictable. A lot of folks kind of shat on it on the internet, and I shared that on the page.
And thank you for using the past tense of
Shat, but not Shatnerd on it.
You know, I was okay with it. I knew what to expect, and I think people get their hopes up for these Saudi shows. The thing is, these Saudi shows are just time killers.
These are for an audience of one, and that's the Sheik of
That's
Saudi
it.
Arabia.
There was no. I
Or
didn't.
whatever the royalty is.
When was the last time a belt changed hands on the
I
show?
think it was Brock over Strowman for the vacant Universal title when Roman got sick.
I think it might be the only time it's happened.
Might
It's
be.
happened once or twice, but
Wait, hang on. Do you count when Braun won the Greatest Royal Rumble? They gave him that big green belt.
no.
That was a cool belt, though.
I'm eating chips. I hope you guys.
Was
can hear
it March 17th when he got the green belt?
No, I forget when it was.
It'd have been kind of Irish of him.
It would have been, but
me. What was your favorite match?
honestly, aside from one spot, my favorite match was probably Drew and Madcap Moss. That
Yeah,
False
other
Count
than him
Anywhere.
about killing Moss. That one.
That here's what it was. It was that inverted Alabama slam that Drew does,
Yeah.
where you take the face first, like flat bump, and Moss tucked.
And he
He
shouldn't
tucked his
have. I
head.
told Rachel the same. Rachel's like, well, he'd have taken it on his face. I'm like, yeah,
That's what you're supposed
that's
to do.
what you're supposed to do.
If you tuck, you're going to break your neck.
And from what I read, I guess the gorilla position was like super concerned.
Yeah. They were-
And that's why Money or Happy not Money Corbin,
Money Corbin.
Happy jumped up there, pulled him out,
Killed
gave
time.
him a little time,
Yep.
and he was good. So a lot of people they think Madcap Moss has got potential. I
Man,
think
he's-
so.
He's got so much talent. I don't like the Madcap gimmick.
No, stupid. That's a terrible name.
And I didn't like what they did with him with Mojo before that, when he was his enforcer. What are you looking at?
Well, I'm eating chips. I don't want you to hear it.
Oh, you don't want to chew in the microphone. Okay, I got you. But no, Madcap's got a ton of talent, man.
I've
see him
muted
doing-
you.
I see big things out of Madcap coming up, but they got to change. They got to lose the Madcap name. Just go back to Riddick Moss, you know. But between that and the women's match, Lita and Becky was a damn good match, I thought.
Yeah, I thought Lita. Thanks, Mark.
Best producer in the business.
I really thought Lita had a shot. Based on the promo that we saw Monday night last week, I thought Lita was going to beat Becky Lynch. I didn't think she'd hold it till Mania. I thought maybe lose it on Raw.
Or at the Garden.
Or the Garden. Yeah, why not?
It makes sense.
It doesn't hurt Becky any. You know what they could have done? Well, no, they couldn't have. Because when did Bianca win, before or after?
Before.
Well, okay, so then Bianca could have came out, caused some sort of baloney.
But Bianca's the baby face.
Why no? But she could still come out, whip her hair around, do a couple, and then Becky looks, and then a little roll up.
Nah, that's...
Come on.
This sounds really weird to say, but that's almost too predictable.
For the WWE.
For the WWE.
That's too predictable.
I just thought, Lita was the one. I was there at 32 when Lita presented the belt. She was there.
Right.
Lita was the one.
Yeah.
And the promo on Monday what I didn't like is the promo on Monday led me to believe she'd be around for a while, but then she did an interview a day or two later where she said, like, she had no plans after Saudi.
Yeah.
So, which was kind I can't stand some of these folks. I wish Vince put a tighter leash on them. We talked earlier, Pat McAfee.
A tiger leash?
Tighter leash. Not
Tighter,
a tiger
okay.
leash. This isn't Scott Steiner on Nitro. Pat McAfee
good call.
was talking about Cody coming to WWE. I don't think that's, come on, what are you doing? Like, don't do that.
Yeah, I think might be trying too hard to be the company guy there.
Don't do that.
So
I saw a lot of traffic on the page this week. Narge actually tagged me in something I think he wanted me to actually fucking see.
Yeah.
Which a lot of people, I don't remember if it was on our page or it was on a WWE commentary, but
Those are
it was
chips.
a whole bunch of people, dragging the WWE for their shitty.
It was raking
oh my
over
God.
the coals, man.
I loved it. It was everything I thought and everything that Mark hates, and that's why I shared it.
Here's the thing.
But then you tagged me personally. I'm like,
Because
oh,
I
shit,
knew
I
you'd
gotta see
appreciate
this.
it.
I did.
Here's the thing, though. You say it's something I don't hate it. Here's the thing. Everybody thinks that I love WWE or I.
You do.
I am
do.
used.
That's your Viagra.
No.
Monday
Hey,
Night
hey,
Raw.
No.
Hold on. Let him talk.
I'm used to the WWE.
Yeah.
I know what they think, so I'm not surprised by anything they do.
I'm the eternal optimist, and that's my problem.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like with AEW,
But you're not,
WWE,
because you already hate the WWE for
I
what
do,
they're doing
but
wrong.
I still tune in, and I
Okay.
go, come on, give
You
me
can
this.
do
But
it,
here's the-
man.
But here's the thing, and you'll agree with me. Other than creative, it's a fucking good show.
No, I get the in-ring work's good.
Yeah.
We saw that last Monday.
Right.
Street Profits are
Yeah.
doing great things. RK Bro, all these guys are doing great things in the ring, but the creative side is just so lazy.
Here's-
Mark, you and I could do it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, we do it when
Tony,
we're watching it.
if you need Cody's gone, you need a new creative team. We're your guys. We're your Russo and Ferrara for this.
yeah.
All right, so let's have this conversation, okay? GCW,
Uh-huh.
I don't see a lot of creative, and I'm not being a dick. I'm saying, though, those guys basically, they scrum some shit together, and then they beat the fucking tar out of each other. But is there an overarching storyline that matters in GCW?
And no, it's because it's independent pro wrestling. They don't
Right.
have a TV show, so there's no need for storyline. You literally tune in to watch. I mean,
But is
they
that-
do a
is
pay-per-view
that-
once a month.
Right, but is that the reason you like GCW?
Not
Then
necessarily.
AEW,
I,
then W, you know what I mean?
like storylines, but I get it with independent wrestling. They don't have a
I say
TV show.
The indie guy in me loves just the shit.
Oh.
I loves
God,
the,
it was
just,
an empty shot
just
glass.
the
He
in ring.
wants another one.
But here's the thing, though. There's two guys in GCW that have the storytelling down to a science, and I think we'll both agree on this. Number one is Matt Cardona.
Easily.
Number two, Effie.
Effie, yeah. And
Effie does long-term storylines. He did it with Cardona for, 3-4 months? And now then he did the thing with Jarrett for a couple months?
he's still building it on Twitter. And now
Yeah.
he's kind of starting a thing with Lauderdale.
Really?
Well, yeah, where he's talking about Lauderdale's got to quit bringing in these guys for clout. Yeah.
But what
I
about
could
this? Okay, GCW, FE, storyline, okay? Is a storyline the thing that's missing from GCW to get it to the level that, like,
It
a
could
multitude
be.
of
I
others
thi-
would see?
To an extent.
I think if you do, you got to have some sort of storyline.
Something, yeah.
Again, we talked about it the other day with them hitting Kevin Gill with the light tube.
Right?
That could.
I could build to something.
The thing is, they don't have a TV deal, so
Mm-hmm.
build some storylines where somebody's like, "This is entertaining television. We want to bring you on." I think YouTube's the right platform for that right now.
Yeah.
So
When
I would agree with you there. YouTube is an easy platform to develop anything you're trying to push. Now, so for GCW, if I'm not mistaken, everything they do is on this Fight TV platform as a pay-per-view, correct?
pretty much, yeah.
And do you guys think that maybe GCW should start thinking about, you know what? Let's put out, half of our material in a, free to view mode where people can see it, because there's a lot of people who love wrestling that might see it, but then they're turned off by women. I don't know shit about you, and you want me to pay for you?
Well, what I don't understand is they're offering contracts to guys like Nick Gage, but then you've got somebody like EC3 who's got himself and Braun Strowman, and he's like, hey, we've got a TV deal imminent. And then you've got the greatest independent company in all the United States, and they're
Ring of Honor?
They're not. No, Ring of Honor sucks, man. They're not even talking about a TV deal.
So, I agree with you. And also, Killer Cross, I heard, is involved in EC3's project too.
Which is that I had no problem. Those are 3 good guys to start a company with.
Yeah. So I think my mind goes back, and we're gonna bring Kyle in here because I feel bad. We're kind of
Cool. You're cool.
So when Ring of Honor was at its best, like when I was really into it, it was 2004 through like 2009, I would say.
I thought he was going to say back when he was a wee one, just pulling off the britches and peeing in the toilet finally.
Well, that too, but but this is before they had a TV deal with HDNet for Mark Ewing's company, before they got Sinclair to buy them out and start running them on their shows. They would run local events, but they would film everything and sell everything on DVDs. So they would do the long-term storytelling, but it wouldn't be on television. So they kind of did the best of both worlds with that. They did what GCW is doing with the storytelling that AEW and WWE should be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you had CM Punk when he was there having a feud with Jimmy Rave. Jimmy Rave would try to scrape his straight edge tattoo off and then have a dog collar match, which we'll get into, by the way.
Yeah.
And then the cage match built after that. They would build to things in different cities. And like in the case of Rave and Punk, which is one of my favorite feuds, by the way, R.I.P. Jimmy Rave, they had the cage match in Chicago. And I think I may have shared that match on our page before. But it was good. It was Punk's springboard to the world title. And everybody knew that. So Ring of Honor back when it was, and not even when it was Feinstein, when it was Gabe Sapolsky, when it was Delirious running the show. Adam
You
Pearce.
mean Take a Seat, Rob Feinstein? That guy? Catch a Predator, Rob Feinstein?
This is after
Oh,
Rob
okay.
Feinstein. This is Delirious, Gabe Sapolsky, Adam Pearce.
Yeah,
both
Mark,
in
you
the
don't know
show.
about this. One of the guys who ran one of these companies was on To Catch a Predator.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And he
was a predator.
he was the predator. He wasn't the predatee.
For the younger fellas.
Predatee? Is that right?
And he's still doing stuff in pro wrestling.
Wait. He was predating, predating, whatever it's called.
Yeah, preying
Young
on
boys?
The fellas.
young people. Yeah.
Wow. I don't
But-
think I saw that episode.
But Adam Pearce is currently an official with WWE. He's on the show every week. But he was the booker for Ring of Honor in 2008.
Do you like that they put
2009?
Adam Pearce as kind of a little bitch on TV, Mark?
I
He
wish
was
they
one of
did-
the greatest NWA
I
champs.
wish they did more with Adam Pearce.
He could probably still go if he wanted to,
He
right?
doesn't want to.
They teased it
Adam Pearce
about a
is
year ago.
Adam Pearce is very active on Facebook.
Yeah.
And
I
he
see
does
it.
he does Q&As all the time. I always shoot him questions. I asked him what his high game in bowling was. One time he didn't answer me. But he has
He
no...
probably told you, I've never bowled high in my life.
I see what you did there.
Mark has.
But he seems very happy in his role with WWE.
Different kind
he
of
doesn't
bowling.
seem to want to be back in the ring.
And which is good, I guess.
Good for him.
From a like a spirit standpoint. You're a guy who held the NWA title. People regard you as maybe one of the top 5 of all time. And you're okay being a lackey on TV.
He's not a lackey. He's a producer. But I will say this though: Adam Pearce really brought the prestige to the NWA World Title that was missing after the TNA stuff.
Kind of before Aldis, right? He was kind
Before
of the
Aldis,
last
yeah.
big.
He was the face of the NWA for several years.
Who's Tim Storm, right? Was he kind of the other?
Him and Cabana. It was Pearce and Cabana for a couple of years,
Oh,
trading
yeah,
the title back
that
and forth.
scrub on the Dark Order that doesn't
Man,
get to work.
You know what? Busted Open does a podcast every Sunday, Masters Class, where they take a subject and they break it down for about a half an hour. And this past Sunday, they did a great episode on the most underutilized or underappreciated talents in the business. Nobody mentioned Colt fucking Cabana.
I don't understand because he has such a following.
They didn't
people
mention
love
the Coco Cabana?
How many shows
Where's
have they run?
Barry Manilow in this?
He used to use that song as his entrance in the Indies.
I bet he did.
But how many shows
It's
have
the Coco.
how many
Coco
AEW
Cabana.
shows have run in Chicago since Punk showed up?
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like,
No, we've had like 2 or 3 at least.
and how many of those has Cabana showed up on?
No.
I don't think any. Yeah.
That is a fucking crime, if you ask me.
It is, and
And Tony Khan has some fucking answers to give. out
years
to the
ago.
fans.
I mean, before he
I'm
was
hot, baby.
Mark is over here throwing down the tequila shot glass at Tony Khan.
And the thing is Cabana's a guy who has a following, gets a pop. I worked a show with Cabana years ago, and he was kind of a dick.
Yeah, true.
So I have a hard time shaking that. But again, we were a bunch of, I mean, we really were probably some backyarders, you know. But at the same time, we had other guys come in who had TV deals and were very respectful. And Cabana was just kind of like, why am I wasting my time here? Well, we paid you. That's why you're wasting your time here. So I have a hard time shaking that, but I agree with Mark. He's so good in the ring. Great personality. The guy sells a ton of merch. It just
Yeah, but if you're paid to do a job, you
should
do the job to the best of your ability.
But
and you should
Cabana
do it.
does the job so much better than most of the people that are on the show right now.
Well, but that's fine. But
We're talking, my
if
show.
you're getting paid X dollars and you agree to it because you have a manager who says, "Hey, man, they want to give you $100 or they want to give you
Cabana does his own booking.
Well, whatever he does, he makes an agreement to do it. Shut the fuck up and do it. That's all.
Smile.
So, all right. So,
Hang
before we wrap up the show, because we are at...
I'm trying to post a picture to the Facebook group here. if I
Oh,
can find
shit.
it.
Don't go to the wrong folder on that phone of yours. I swear to God, brother.
I'll have to find it later.
We
It's
still
no
have a
big deal.
top 10. We did mention to Kyle trying
That's
to push
right.
it to 8, so
That's
we got
right.
time.
Yep. I want to just real quick,
Okay.
just came up with this. Don't care what you fuckers think for a minute.
Uh-oh. You're
All you
fired.
people listening live, and then those of you that will listen to the
Dwayne.
podcast, and those of you who will listen to the podcast on your various podcast platforms. Jumping the Rail podcast can be found on Facebook. That is our primary way to contact us, find us, etc. What I want to see
Or Twitter.
happen, well, we can be seen on Twitter, but Facebook's where we do everything, right?
That's
so.
true.
So we're going to post a thread
My beard is
tonight, tomorrow, and we're looking for your absolute best wrestling-related memes. I want to see them all. And in the next episode,
No parameters, like categories or anything?
there are no parameters. It has to be wrestling-related. So there has to be a wrestler in the image, or it has to be commentary about wrestling. I don't give a shit. Y'all can go off. You can do pictures of John Cena not knowing how to cook. I don't give a fuck. Take a picture of him and Peacemaker dancing. Give me a gif. I don't care. Okay? We want the best you have. We will see all these things. And at some point in the next episode, which is March 8th, gives you guys 14 days, we're going to discuss those. And we're going to find what we think is the funniest. And we're going to find what the most accurate of them is.
I don't know. I think I may have caught funniest already today, which was the cowboy shit one with Adam Page, then Brock Lesnar, then Austin Theory with Brock's fucking hat on.
I like the Cody one I shared that, they were
Yeah, that was good.
Toby
The
Maguire, and it was Cody, but then at the bottom with the clear vision was Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Yeah. That was
I
good.
saw that. But challenge to the listeners,
All right.
all of you.
Brown M&M, baby.
Let's do that because that'd be fun and also doesn't matter. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So before we get into top 10, there's something that we have not been paying proper attention to, and you're probably going to kill me for that. This is hurtful. But
You're empty, buddy.
I'm empty. We don't have an episode
design.
coming up before March 6th, Narge, which means that we're not going to have something before Revolution, which is AEW next pay-per-view. So, number 1, Page and Cole, world title. Give me a prediction, both of you.
I think Adam takes it already.
Now, you can't say Adam. They're both named Adam.
Cole, baby. If Murray's listening, that's his favorite. It's Adam Cole, baby. I want to ask you this before we get to Kyle, though.
Shoot.
Because we would be fucking up if we didn't say it. Tony Khan has announced he's got a huge announcement coming. Now, you know how Tony's huge announcements go. They're usually... Yes. But he said it's not a signing. It's a... It's something... So what's he doing? Do you think we have a New Japan deal? That's what I'm wondering, Mark. He said it would be something different. I hope it's not... I don't know. Any thoughts?
Man, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say.
He says it's not a signing.
It's not a signing.
Now, I read earlier he said that the forbidden door swings both ways, which is a weird way to put it, Tony.
That's
so,
an odd...
but the forbidden doors always swing both ways. So what does that mean? Mark says give him another Coke.
maybe somebody's going to Mania.
Could be. At what point do we get Okada? That's the
gotta
biggie.
come.
That's
That's
the
gotta
biggie.
come.
Right? I can't believe it hadn't happened yet.
If he's the world champion though right now in New Japan, I think they wait till he drops the title to
Did you
somebody.
see the tournament they announced? What's
the New
that
Japan
for?
Cup? Yeah. I don't think
I
I've
knew
ever
you
seen.
would know.
I've never seen the field that large for the New Japan Cup. It was always like a 16-man tournament. That's like a 30-guy tournament right now.
And a lot of them have some buys. I see Minoru Suzuki. He's got a buy. He'll be in GCW for 5 shows.
They got
again.
announced him too. I wish he was coming to Chicago. Have they announced the Chicago show yet?
Dwayne Carter, Rampage going to 2 hours would be awesome. I absolutely agree. I think
That'd be
Rampage
good.
would be great.
But they'd have to change the time slot though.
to Saturday at 6:05.
Yes.
That was my idea. No.
No. That was an official JTR idea.
Yeah.
Tony, I know you listen.
I
Make it
don't know.
happen.
Tony has a huge announcement. Again, I love Tony Khan. AEW is my favorite big promotion. But Tony usually, I'm just, last week, 2 weeks ago, Keith Lee.
That's not a.
Keith Lee looked like Fat Albert.
we didn't
rolling
get
out
into
there.
Keith Lee. And
we don't need to. He need to
No.
get into Jenny Craig. I'm sorry. I'm fat and I'm shaming
we're
I guess,
we're both fat guys.
But he looked terrible.
He was. And it's not even that he was. We've seen him at his best in NXT.
Survivor Series a couple years back.
I'll do you better. Royal Rumble when he was with Brock.
That was great. I was there at Survivor Series Live, so I thought that was great. But yeah,
I don't know if it's just a time off. He just let himself go. But
He got married.
he got married too.
Well, you would have thought, though, with the wedding. I remember when I got married a couple years ago, that was the time where I'm like, I'm hitting the gym. I'm going to look good in the pics. He's like, well, I'm just going to swell up, and who cares?
I just
Like,
made sure the tux was baggy enough to hide any belly I had. But
I just want to make sure I could hide 2 fists of Fireball in mine. So
bingo. But Keith, though, number one, I'm a big Keith Lee fan. I've been since he was with Ring of Honor. He's great. But I didn't have a stopwatch. But that match with was it Cassidy or was
Isaiah
it
Cassidy,
Isaiah
and
Cassidy.
he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, Cassidy made Keith look like a star, but Keith Lee, he blew up after 3 minutes.
Terrible. Kyle, did you see the match?
I didn't see the match. I read about it. Saw pictures, but I wasn't impressed that was the quote unquote big announcement.
That's what I'm saying.
Was Keith Lee?
Here's the
He
thing.
was leaning on the ropes, Kyle, he did the big toss mark, and I think anybody who's
Uncle
not a
Phil
fan,
toss.
anybody who's not a fan doesn't understand. That's Isaiah Cassidy doing most of the work.
Yeah.
He's doing
He
the work.
jumped, he flipped, he landed.
Yes.
That's like the Miz with the celebrities.
Yeah, Miz is going to do the work.
Yes. But with Keith Lee, number one, Keith Lee was only half of the surprise. Jay White was the other. And I'm thrilled that both of them went to AEW. But collectively or separately, they're not a giant surprise.
No, a lot of people on the internet kind of shit on the Jay White
And
or Jay White thing.
And
not
you know
Jay.
me, I'm a big Jay White fan.
Yeah, I think he's good, but like somebody said, he's already been in Impact a couple of times since,
He's been kind of making comments lately. He's trying to build the Bullet Club back up. For those that don't know, he is the leader of the Bullet Club in Japan, in New Japan Pro Wrestling. In Impact, he's got it going with Chris Bay from Impact, and apparently after the pay-per-view was Gallows and Anderson.
That's what I was going to tell you. He kicked out God.
Tama and Tongaloa got kicked out of the Bullet Club. Tama's an original member.
Yeah. So now he's brought in these guys.
And he's rolling with Adam Cole and the Bucks apparently in AEW. So
what somebody suggested is Cole is bringing in all these guys who had issues with Kenny Omega at one point, which makes sense. Jay White's got issues. Red Dragon's got issues.
Right.
So
you know what? I love it if it's a slow burn. I don't know how much Ring of Honor you watched back in 20.
None.
So Adam Cole was the leader of the Ring of Honor wing of the Bullet Club. It was Cole, Page, the Young Bucks. It wasn't Marty Scurll yet.
Cody?
Not Cody yet.
Oh.
But
Cody sucks.
basically there was an angle where Cole lost the Ring of Honor world title to Daniels in Ring of Honor. And then Omega kicked him out of the Bullet Club. And the Bucks super kicked him, and Marty Scurll showed up and took his spot. So, and that right after that is when he went to WWE. Like I think he had like a match with Marty afterwards for the TV title, but then he went to WWE and NXT.
Baby.
So they never got that payoff really with him and Omega. So I was hoping when he showed up at All Out in, what was it, September? I was hoping that he was going to come in, not even necessarily as a babyface, but I wanted him to come in against the Bucks and Omega because they had that the term again, long-term storytelling.
Yep.
But they wound up putting him back with the Super Elite, they called it. And I like what they do with the Super Click, him and the Bucks together. They make a great team. They have since they were in PWG together. But if this is a slow burn to get to get Cole his payback against the Bucks and Omega for what they did in Ring of Honor,
You're okay with it.
I do the chef's kiss, baby.
It's coming. I really think All Out next year, it's Cole and Omega.
In Chicago?
Yeah, it's Cole and Omega.
If
I
it's-
know you. I know
You know what I say about All Out in Chicago?
they're building to Cole and Omega, though. Everybody knows that.
I agree. I think they are building to that, but I think Tony will get excited and he'll rush it, and he'll do it in at Full Gear. Maybe not Full Gear. Maybe Double or Nothing,
Yeah.
because that's kind of their biggest show is Double or Nothing.
Let me ask you this.
Shoot.
Jim Cornette, a lot of people have been very critical about Adam Cole's look. Do you have a
Yes.
problem with it?
I do think he could use a little more size.
You think he's been eating cheeseburgers too much? A lot of people say he looks
kinda-
doughy.
He's got the dad bod, but no children.
He's easily. Kyler asked me the other day. Kyler, shout out. Guest
That's because
host.
dad bods are in.
Yeah, they are.
But you can tell where he was at the PC.
Yeah,
He's there every day working out.
and he's not doing it.
He's not doing that now.
He's got Britt Baker. That's enough workout.
That's push-ups, man.
That's the word. That's the word. Hey,
There's no weight training there. She's
that's-
not bench pressing
That's
Britt
the
over his
best
head.
workout. But like I told Kyler,
The
Adam,
good doctor. Shout out
Adam-
to Britt Baker.
Adam Cole is easily my favorite wrestler
I love Adam Cole.
right now
I'm sick of
in
Adam
AEW.
Cole.
Oh, hang on.
Hook is number 2.
We have a dissenting take. Kyle,
wanna
why
make sure I said
are
that.
you sick of Adam Cole?
Because every time you turn around, you hear about Adam Cole. I
Yeah,
want
baby.
somebody to beat the tar out of him.
What the hell is that?
I think the people agree with you.
There it is.
I
baby.
want Hangman to beat the tar out of Adam Cole.
Hangman, a lot of folks, they don't think he's got the personality for it. And I don't know if he's growing into it.
He's got cowboy shit. He's good.
He does have cowboy shit.
He's great in the ring. He's
love Adam
absolutely
Page.
fantastic in the ring.
I've been a fan since Ring of Honor.
I had no problem, though, if Lance Archer beat him.
Oh, yeah. In that Texas death match, I would have been fine if Archer would have won the
I
belt
hate
from him.
that they're jobbing Archer out.
It sucks.
I think they're trying to run him out of the company. He's a guy that it could have surprised us and beat
You
him.
know whose fault that is?
Vince McMahon? No.
Damn it, Tony.
You leave Tony alone.
Fucking Tony. Come on, man.
Tony.
Tony,
So you
the
don't like
answer is...
you're not an Adam Cole guy. You're an Adam
I'm not
Page
an
guy.
Adam Cole. Yeah, I'm an Adam Page guy.
All right, Mark. Who should be the heavyweight champion in AEW? Absolutely, Adam Cole.
Honestly, I mean, number one, I don't think he's a heel.
No, he's over.
He's not a heel
He's
because
over
people are
like
cheering
Rover,
him.
baby.
People are chanting his name, doing his catchphrase. He's not a heel.
He
Like
was never a heel
Stone
in
Cold.
NXT.
Stone Cold's
No.
supposed to be a bad guy, and everybody cheered him.
Exactly. But they're still trying to push him as a heel because he's got him running with the Bucks and with Red Dragon.
I want to see Cole and Danielson. That's the match I want to see.
You know what I want? And this will sound very cliche. I want Cole and Punk.
Cole and Punk would be great. But
The
you know what?
promos,
I think Danielson's more over than Punk.
right?
He's better in the ring.
I don't know. I mean, MJF is giving Punk a hell of a rub right now.
He is, but MJF, again, so we've talked about this on the show before. MJF, right here on the microphone, number one, nobody better. In the ring, meh.
So,
The Wardlow thing's coming. Mark.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
after
definitely.
this Punk thing, it's Wardlow and MJF.
Definitely.
That's where we're at. So.
so you mentioned MJF. I mentioned Punk. So Punk put out the challenge for the dog collar match for fucking pay-per-view.
Revolution.
Thank you. The dog collar that Punk brought out of that little shoebox looked weak as hell, man.
Looked like he was going to walk Scrappy.
Right. For those that don't know, Scrappy is Marco's Chihuahua.
Scrappy was our first producer.
Yes.
He's the Taco
The
Bell
official-
dog. Mark adopted
the
him
official
years ago.
dog-
Taco Bell threw him out.
Scrappy is the official dog of Jumping to Rail.
He Yo-Kuro'd the hell
Jumping
out of
to
that place.
trail.
I'm-
Mark's had too much.
I've had
tequila.
4 tequila shots, baby. Jumping the rail.
Tequila Mark.
Now that would be a shirt worth owning.
Yeah, right.
You're welcome.
So,
You fall down now. You go boom.
Yes,
I-
Kyle has done it.
and I have a prototype of the Tequila Narge T-shirt that has not been done yet. I have it coming. When it's done, I'm going to have a picture on our Facebook page. If you like it, I'm going to try to arrange to sell those.
You do realize I have really good pictures of tequila.
That's a
Nards.
giveaway right there, I think.
So mine's a prototype. So if you got better pictures, I can put them into the picture.
Not
So-
as good as John Cena's prototype.
No.
All right.
What's the
We're getting off the rails.
A little bit.
jumped him. We
So,
jumped him.
what's
so
the
keep.
top 10? Go ahead.
Oh,
do yours, but
Hey,
Look
What
at
number are we
Kyle.
on?
Whose
Kyle's
show is
here to
this?
keep us
Kyle's
on.
like, look, motherfuckers, I gotta
Hey.
go home, man.
Hey,
I
I
got
brought the
shit to
tequila. You
do.
could forget what we're doing.
Hey, our show.
Oh, wait a minute.
Pipe down,
Somebody
boy.
said
So-
the word.
I got one more thing
I
on
heard the
Revolution before we
word.
move
All right,
on.
go ahead.
The women's title, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa.
It's time for Thunder Rosa.
Thunder Rosa.
I agree.
She looked great last week
Yeah.
in the yellow and the.
Oh yeah, she looked like Bruce Lee.
Hey, I want to shout. So
I loved it when she
we're all married individuals.
Yes.
Not Marco. Marco is happily single. He's looking, ladies.
Yes.
I am happily looking for my third wife.
I want to talk about Thunder Rosa and her. I believe it's either an OnlyFans or a Patreon with Gabby Laspiza from Busted. If
Oh, you
have
love your
not
Gabby.
seen Gabby.
Gabby is delightful.
Gabby's not for you, Mark, but Gabby's for me. If you know what I'm saying.
Gabby.
She got
She
that
got
butt.
she got dumps like a truck.
Gabby is the. For those that don't know, she's the producer of the Busted Open show on Sirius XM.
And my goodness,
She's a very, very pretty girl, but she's also a very capable producer. I want to make sure I put that out there. I don't want her to kick my ass. But she's very feisty. She'll put Ricker in his place where I can't, where I know I would.
her and Thunder Rosa though have, like I said, a page.
Yeah. Gabby's awesome.
It's and
Is
she-
Thunder Rosa related to Omarosa from the Donald Trump
No,
bullshit?
Thunder Rosa, 2 words. So Rosa's her,
Oh, okay.
but
Because
she's a,
Omarosa is a fucking.
I want to
dumbass.
shout out Thunder Rosa. We watched Warrior Wrestling about 2 weeks ago. She took Athena, who used to be Ember Moon, to
Yes.
a 30-minute time limit draw. Fantastic match. And what I want to shout out is the end of that match.
I think I know what you're talking about.
She called out the fans.
Uh-huh.
Some of those fans in Cicero were some racist chants to Athena.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. And
Fucking bullshit.
Thunder Rosa let them know these women were in there busting their ass to entertain them and did not deserve it. And I 100% agree.
Absolutely.
We've been around wrestling fans long enough to know that there's all kinds.
There's always one bad apple.
But there's always one that ruins it. When we were in Chicago for GCW,
Yes.
there was one yelling at the lady, Kylie Ray.
Yeah.
And shout out to John Wayne Murdoch and Reed Bentley. They came out ready to beat this fan's
They were
ass.
They were ready, man. They were
for
ready to
Kylie
fight.
Ray.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Realize when you're running your mouth to the talent in the ring, they've got 30 in the back who love them and are willing to come out front.
It's kind of like us. We family. Don't
Yeah.
fuck this up.
Yes.
And that's the thing.
Fam Damley, baby.
You were not being funny. You're not being creative. You're not being anything but an asshole.
That's right.
And a piece of shit.
Wrestling is such an inclusive sport anymore, thanks to guys like Effie, Perro, all these other guys.
Nick
out there.
Gage.
Nick Gage. Yeah. Somebody. Go
Nick
ahead.
Gage. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but Nick Gage always gets on the mic after the shows, and he's, f bombs aplenty. He has
Always.
But, but he's a
Always.
fan person.
He's a fan person,
crowd person. He's a
and he's a
people
very
person.
positive
Yes,
person with
yes.
what he talks about, and he's paid his dues. He made his mistakes. And he owns up to that. But he's very positive to the fans and grateful to the fans. So he knows what's up. There are people in the crowd that has maybe one too many PBRs at the GCW shows or a few too many
Somebody who
Teremana.
was the guy
Teremanas.
sitting next to us who had never been to a show before
Yeah.
and downed a little pint of whatever it
He
was.
just wanted to fuck with people. And
I mean, he thought he told me at one point, he looked at me, he said, I'm going to go up there and fuck with those guys. You want who was in the ring, Mark?
who was in the ring?
Mark and Jay Briscoe. I
Hey, you
looked
know
at
what?
him and I said, please do.
I would
Please go die.
I-
You go ahead, die now.
If I'd have heard that, I would have given the guy $20 to go and slap Jay Briscoe in the face.
And I don't know, you were in the back at this point, but he walked up during that match. Or no, it was, he did. He fucked around and he came back. And then they had the death match with Cologne, Jimmy Lloyd,
Nate Webb.
and Nate Webb. And he went up to the ring and smacked his hands on the ring by the light bulbs. And the referee about jumped his shit.
The
And that's-
referees don't fuck around either.
No, and that's the thing. These guys are families. When you're in there talking all this shit, especially to the women, there are so many guys in the back
man.
who are ready to talk to you.
Stop
out the
being an
door.
asshole.
Yeah.
Do you remember, and I know this isn't fans per se, Heatwave 2000 ECW, when the main event came out, it was Dreamer against Justin for the title.
Was this the stairway to...
No.
No,
This-
not that
that
one.
was Guilty as Charged. This was
Okay.
just a match. Francine's out with Justin, and the XPW guys were out in the crowd.
Oh, I remember, yeah.
And one of them got a little fresh with Francine. The entire ECW locker room emptied out, and came down to ringside, and they chased the guys out to the parking lot.
Yeah, and why not?
And this is, I'm talking Balls Mahoney, New Jack.
Crazy guys.
The people you do not want angry at you came out.
New Jack just by himself. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yep.
Right? Because he'd have a shopping cart full of fucking weapons.
Well, and we've talked about this. I talked to Mike Supernova, and he had mentioned that.
Hopeful guest.
Yeah, we had mentioned at one point when XPW showed up there, and New Jack and the guys beat the shit out of their crew in the back. And Mike had told me that's a legit story. Those guys showed up, disrespected their locker room, and got their ass beat in the back. But long story short, public service announcement: don't go to the shows and be a racist, misogynistic asshole, because more than likely somebody's going to come out and tell you where the fuck to go.
Which is a good rule in general for people.
Just in life.
It's a
Well,
good rule of
anywhere,
thumb. If you're going to piss somebody off, odds are somebody's going to hear you that can kick your ass.
Yeah.
You're
Make
paying-
sure-
paying
make
your
sure
money
if
to
you're gonna
watch
say
the
dumb shit.
show, not open your
That's
mouth.
right.
That's right.
But
You
if
pay-
you're
yeah.
going to say dumb shit, you better make sure you're surrounded by a bunch of other dumb shits like you, because smart fuckers won't take your shit.
Yeah.
With that, Mark, let's get to our special February top 10 list.
All right. So
Dun,
I don't.
dun, 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 dun,
So
dun.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this. February is Black History Month.
Yes, indeed.
Not exactly a newsflash. So I thought it was appropriate if we were to do the top 10 African American wrestlers of all time.
Fantastic.
And this was kind of tricky for me because I had 9 easy choices and then one that was kind of, I was on the fence between 2 guys.
You asked me, and
So let me ask
I'd
this.
have done a dual number 10, but I didn't want to tell you that. I
So-
know you got to pick.
So,
one.
so hang on a minute, hang on a minute.
Do we do an
So
11?
The
Top 11?
first 9 were easy. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. But then the number 1 wasn't.
No. Just
Number 10.
Number 10 was.
not number 1. Just out of
Oh.
the 10 guys, one of them was easy.
So you have 11 people you want to put in.
Right. I have an honorable mention.
Ladies and gentlemen, for tonight, and tonight only, the first time ever in JTR history, we have tonight's top 11. And starting at number 10, tied for number 10 are...
Well, we'll call it an honorable mention, just to be fair. I'm going with the guy who Tony Khan doesn't know how to use. Former two-time, maybe 3-time Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion, Jay Lethal.
You did right there. You asked me the 2 guys.
I told you the 2 guys.
I think Lethal's 11. Just based on Ring of Honor Impact, I think, that's where he's made his splash.
Right. You know a lot about Jay Lethal,
I
Kyle?
know of Jay Lethal, yes.
I've never seen the guy have a bad match.
I haven't either.
The match he had when he won the world title in Ring of Honor from Jay Briscoe was a fucking classic, if you ask me. And I'm not saying that because I'm biased towards Ring of Honor. But, yeah, everything he's done is great. And he showed up at AEW as a surprise at the pay-per-view, and then he's basically been on Dark and Elevation ever since. And it just pisses me off because they don't know what they have with him.
They're wasting him. They absolutely. You bring him out, a surprise. Has he been on or not Impact?
Dynamite.
Dynamite
Only
since.
in the Battle Royal.
Okay, so he did the Sammy match, right? And then
Sammy
the Battle
and
Royal, and that's it.
That's it.
Waste. Absolutely.
Awful.
You've got other guys out there. No business.
Yeah. So moving on from that, so my I kind of shuffled them up a little bit. The guy I had other than Lethal, they were going to be my number.
You moved him.
They were gonna. It was for my number 6 spot basically.
Okay.
So starting with my number 10, I've got a guy from the old days, from the '60s, Bearcat Wright. He was a guy from the West Coast. Worked with Freddie Blassie. Basically, he's there because he was one of the first.
The namesake of Keith Lee.
The namesake of Keith Lee.
Mark's the only person that knows this guy.
That's not. There's people twice my age that know who Bearcat Wright was.
Who, Marko?
Well, wrestling fans twice my age to know who Bearcat Wright was. All right, number 9, I got the guy who I posted a thing about today. Luther Lindsay, who was a guy from the 50s and 60s through the 70s. The first African-American really to main event at a major territory. He worked with everybody, worked at every territory, the Carolinas, Pacific Northwest, L.A. He worked with Luthez. And he's actually a guy who passed away in the ring. And that's the thing I posted on
crazy.
Facebook. In 1974, I think it was. And he literally died during a pin. He pinned the guy. And then afterwards, he just didn't get up. And it was crazy. But you hear guys like Mark Henry and Booker T talk extremely glowingly about Luther Lindsay. And he's a guy I never got to see work. There's not a lot of video about the guy. But just for the impact that he made, I put him on at number 9. Number 8, I've got the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Yep.
And I would have had him higher, but his real impact didn't happen until later in his career.
Oh yeah, when he became
That
the
Hall
world
of Pain
champ, right?
stuff.
Yeah, the Hall of Pain was it.
Former world heavyweight champion, current
He was an ECW champion too, right?
ECW champion, European champion,
WECW.
WWECW. Yeah. And now he's the third banana on AEW Rampage.
It's time for the main event.
Yeah,
Terrible.
Mike, is he happy with that? I mean, he can't be, can he?
And where's Paul White been?
I don't know.
All right, I'm getting.
But for not for nothing, Mark Henry does a fantastic job on Busted Open.
Oh, he does. Love it.
He's on Fridays and Saturdays if you ever get a chance to listen on Sirius.
Yep.
All right, number 7, I've got the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd, former football player from the 60s in the AFL, first African-American booker in a major territory for Mid-South.
He might have been the first African gentleman into the WWE Hall of Fame as well. I'm pretty sure he was early on.
He was early. I'm not sure if he was. I'm not sure if he was before Bobo, but
It might have been same class.
might be. I have to do some research on that
Yeah.
one.
See, I'm
Uh-oh,
testing you.
my phone went
testing
out.
you.
Kyle, how you feeling about these picks so far?
I'm good with them so far.
I have one. I can't
We'll
wait
see
till we
the
get
top
done
5.
because I've got one that's I want to throw in. But go ahead. We'll see. I bet Mark doesn't have him.
All right. So Ernie Ladd was number 7. Number 6. This is the one that I had problems with, Narge.
All right.
I got the Almighty, Bobby Lashley, the former WWE champion.
The guy that's currently just recently former burnt shoulder or something
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Champ, not only champ, did a WrestleMania with Donald Trump, was a Bellator champion. I mean, he's done a little bit of Impact champion, and that's where we talked.
He held everything in Impact at the same time.
Yeah, you asked me the other day between him and Lethal, and I thought, all right, both Impact champions, but Lashley was a WWE guy. He's been a multiple-time champ, so he was. I think he was definitely ahead of Lethal.
Plus, he's got the amateur pedigree too.
Yeah.
Where he's just a legit.
The only thing he's always
badass.
been missing is the mic work, and that's where MVP comes in
Right.
and does a great job.
Yeah.
No, ever since his interview on the Broken Skull Ranch or Broken Skull Sessions, that's changed my whole opinion about him. I don't know if any of you have listened to it.
That show has done a great
Yeah.
job to change my opinion on a lot of people.
I agree.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. There's one I haven't watched the one from Saturday yet with Ron Simmons, but we'll get to him later.
Yeah.
Number 5, I've got the legend Bobo Brazil. First African American superstar in wrestling. He was out of the Detroit area. Did a lot of work for Vince McMahon Sr. Worked all the major territories, and it was probably the first big African American baby face, because that wasn't a big thing back in the 60s and 70s to have the black guys be the good guys. You know what I mean? So he was very much a trailblazer, and he was James Dudley, you mentioned earlier. He was the guy that managed Bobo for Vince.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
A lot of my Bobo was years ago when ESPN had ESPN Classic. They'd show some old wrestling, and Bobo was always kind of one of the guys on there.
Yeah.
So
All right. Number 4, and this might get a little bit of backlash from you. I've got the six-time world heavyweight champion.
Was that 6 times?
Six times.
6?
The great Booker T. I've got it number 4.
no back. I think Booker T. I mean, Booker T is one of those guys that
He's a name. He's a
had,
big name.
Yeah, had WCW continued, Booker T's the guy that could have led that company.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Transitioned great over to WWE. I mean, a lot of people probably saw him in WWE and don't even realize he had a WCW career. So
Yeah, I agree. Because I knew him from WWE only.
exactly.
Right.
I remember him in WCW.
Yeah.
So.
I remember I was a big fan of Harlem Heat.
I loved Harlem Heat.
And then when he moved on to the stuff with Benoit doing the TV title, and then just seeing him progress to the world championships and everything, it was just awesome to see.
You know who they talked about the other day? Was it him and Rick Martel?
Yeah.
Rick Martel he almost got injured, but
Yeah.
Martel and Booker put on some great matches.
They had a
in
great
WCW.
feud. Yeah, this was early '98, I want to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Martel had a freak injury, broke his leg in a match on a pay-per-view, and Booker wound up getting the title back.
And Martel was they were ready to push him again.
Yeah.
So unfortunate. He's another guy, Hall of Fame.
Oh, absolutely.
How's Rick Martel? not in,
Absolutely,
so.
man. All right, so Booker's number 4. Number 3.
Number 3.
Number 3, I got the first ever African-American World Heavyweight Champion.
Damn.
Mr. Ron Simmons. Farouk, for those that don't know him from WCW. Just, if you look up badass in the dictionary, you're probably going to find a picture of Ron Simmons in there.
He's a guy I wouldn't mess with. And you were talking about the Steve Austin Broken Skull sessions, and I watched that clip of him talking about his win over who should be a Hall of Famer, Vader, and he said, look at the crowd. He says, just not the African-American fans. He said it was all the fans loved it. That place went ballistic.
Yep.
And he said he still, to this day, 30 years later, gets letters from people who said they inspired. His win that night inspired these young African-American gentlemen today.
He is, tequila. He and Bradshaw are both going to be at the Square Circle Expo in Indianapolis. He's one of the guys I'm really looking forward to meeting.
That's awesome. He's loved. I remember as a kid, they played it on WCW. Started, and, I didn't appreciate Vader as much then. I'm a huge Vader guy now. Huge Vader mark. But back then I was like, oh, man, Ron Simmons.
I woke up on a Sunday morning. My brother stayed up later than me. This was 92. I was 10 years old. I woke up the next morning and my brother John says, hey, Vader lost the world title last night. And I said, really? Did Sting beat him? Because it was supposed to be Sting.
Would have made sense, yeah.
But I said, no, it was Ron Simmons. I was like, Ron Simmons? Really? And because I didn't appreciate him back then. But yeah, she's like, yeah, Ron Simmons was like a surprise drawing in a lottery, and he won the world title from Vader. And it just blew my mind.
I'll never forget it. He hit that power slam and does the double pump. And then,
the Vader bump. He always did that where he'd jump up and let like Sting or Vader or, Vader or Luger or somebody just catch him and turn him over in that power slam. It was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh, my phone's screaming out. All right, so Ron Simmons is a very deserving number 3. Number two, I got the first main eventer in Mid-South Wrestling, Junkyard Dog.
Junkyard Dog.
The JYD.
Wow, okay.
Grab them cakes, baby.
He's a guy who could have held the belt. Had Hogan not been there back in the day, JYD was over.
Here's the problem I hear a lot about JYD. And JYD in Mid-South was fucking world beater.
Yep.
Insanely good. By the time he got to WWE, he'd start to kind of let himself go a little bit. He was up to about 300 pounds and not quite as athletic as he was in Mid-South.
Remember him in WCW?
Yeah.
He was real.
He put it on. He put it on a little bit in WCW. But he was, when I was 5 years old, he was one of my favorites. I had the LJN action
Yeah, it was
figure.
one of my first LJNs was JYD.
Saw him running around with the chain,
Yep.
doing the juke, So he was always really high on my list. Kyle, you remember JYD at all?
Oh, yeah. I had one of his figures as well when I was a kid.
He's the head bump. Yeah.
All right, so we've heard.
You got the drum roll, Mark?
Hang on. No, not yet. No.
All right.
We've heard your top 9 plus your
My
what'd you
honorable
call
mention.
honorable mention. Okay, so
I got one.
I want to know, Kyle. You've heard everybody,
Yeah.
but the number 1. The number 1 is a secret at this moment. If you were to choose the number 1, who would it be?
It's already been said who my choosing would be. Was
Oh?
Ron Simmons.
Ron Simmons was your number 1.
Yeah, it would
Okay.
be my number 1.
All right. Narge?
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson.
I know
Nice.
he's half, but it counts.
He qualifies.
It
He
counts.
qualifies. That's right.
I've got
That's right.
one who didn't make the list, and we'll get to that at the end. But he's not
Okay.
number 1, but he should be on the list. But yes,
Okay,
Dwayne
all right.
Johnson.
And my number 1 would probably be the guy named Mr. T, because he's in the Hall of Fame. He did a lot of stuff back in the 80s that,
18.
got him where he got.
I do love Mr. T.
I love
don't know
Mr.
his-
T.
Hey, Narge,
I don't know his wrestling acumen. I just know of all the wrestlers in the history of wrestling that are black.
Oh, he can't wrestle for shit. But
No.
But the dude was.
Narge tweeted Mr. T to try to get him to come on the show.
I have Mr. T shorts. I have shorts with his face on them. I wear Mr. T on my crotch.
Well, that's because you have this thing.
That's weird.
And I hope he doesn't hold that against us if he ever gets to.
Hey, that might be what gets him. He's like, oh, you got my.
I pity
pants
the
on.
fool if he holds that against
That's
us.
it. All right, Redmond,
right.
drum roll and roll.
My number 1 for the greatest African American wrestler of all time, the purveyor of the fine Teremana tequila that we had earlier today. 10-time World Heavyweight Champion, the People's Champion, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
If
Cannot disagree at all.
If you were my son Murray, he'd say, "I smell what he's cooking."
I have
And
a
if you're
lousy
me, you
sense of
smell
smell.
what he's
but
cooking it in.
Yeah, it smells
But-
like potato.
the guy made himself, basically. When he came in doing the Rocky Maivia thing, everybody shit all over it.
Mark, when you saw him at the Survivor Series years ago with the little shit locks on his head and the gladiator outfit, did you imagine he would be maybe the biggest Hollywood star? I mean, he's talking about running for president. No.
I remember, I didn't know what the hell I was
He
looking
wrestled the Sultan at WrestleMania.
Yeah. But here's the thing. When he showed up at Survivor Series, and Survivor Series was his first match in WWF, and Jim Ross was on commentary, and I think you remember this. What was it Jim Ross said? He said, that guy's going to be the man right there.
Blue Chipper.
Blue Chipper.
Blue Chipper.
Jim Ross called it. Jim Ross is the guy that signed him.
Yeah, he is.
But he...
Oh, Dwayne says no Tony Atlas, no Rocky Johnson.
They were close.
They
on
were
my
close,
elbow.
Dwayne. They were like 12 and 13.
12 and 13, I would
Well,
say.
see,
yeah.
I didn't think of The Rock because I always think Samoan when I'm thinking of
Right
The
on,
Rock.
right on. He's
So-
he's got a mixed descent.
Hey, Ron Simmons is I'd put him up at 2.
I would be.
If there was no Rock,
Deadly
Ron
afraid
Simmons
of
would
him.
be right up there.
Yeah. I still have another one.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, however they want to call him. I guess in the wrestling world, he's The Rock, right?
He'll always be the Rock to
He
me.
has escaped the boundaries of the wrestling world. He can return to it any time and be like he's legend. He's there, but he's escaped that. He is well spoken. He's humorous. He's definitely a philanthropic person.
He's loved by all.
right. And
Who has said a negative thing about him?
Nobody has anything
people
bad to say
only people
about
have
him.
something bad to say about him are people that have never had the opportunity, or they felt like whatever opportunity they might have had got dusted off.
Or people that hate their life.
Right. That's it. I mean, they got it. You have to be a sad sack of shit not to see that guy took himself from where he started, which some people argue is nowhere. Some people say, "Oh, but he had,
He had
family."
$7
you
in his
know.
pocket.
Well, but
when
I
he
mean,
got
his
signed.
dad
But
was
he
out
was-
of
he
the
was connected.
limelight.
right,
Yeah.
I mean, Rock. He's got his show on NBC. If you see it, I mean,
Little Rock
the
or
time-
Young Rock,
Rock.
or whatever it is.
Young
Yeah,
Rock.
Young Rock.
by the
yeah.
time Dwayne's grown up, his dad he's done pretty much.
Pretty much.
He's
Right.
kind of doing the indies.
The Rock
But he
lost
has-
his
he has,
starting job to Warren Sapp at the University of Miami.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He has what he has is bloodline.
Yeah.
But his bloodline
Oh.
isn't the reason why he is where
Cheap
he's
pop.
at.
That's called a cheap pop, Marco.
I have no idea why.
Well, so The Rock's cousin,
See, I'm a
Roman
rookie at
Reigns,
this. Yeah.
and the Usos,
Right.
they call themselves the Bloodline.
oh, okay.
So
all right.
They the
Fantastic.
one.
I was just thinking his father was a pro wrestler, so he had that legacy.
So I
Frat
wanna sh-
world is legacy.
I want to
is the
shoot
word.
this by you, and it's going to happen this year. I'm telling you.
Okay.
Picture it: WrestleMania, April 3rd.
39.
Whatever. April 3rd.
Oh, this coming WrestleMania.
Yeah, this next one.
Shut up, Mark. Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar. He's in the ring. He's holding
Cool.
the belt, and you know what happens? If you smell, The Rock comes out. We end WrestleMania 38.
Stare down.
Rock and Roman staring down, and he challenges him to
Aren't
39
they,
in
cousins?
Hollywood. And,
cousins.
oh yeah.
All right.
But Roman has called himself the head of the table of the family. He said, "I'm the guy." I've said for the last 2 years,
You're second.
you're not the guy till you beat The Rock. And that's how you end WrestleMania. The Rock challenges him. 39's in Hollywood. Come on.
Put them together.
Come
Rock
on.
goes into the hall that day. Everything.
You
Right,
were here
I
for
get it.
Royal Rumble. I'm calling
That's
it.
it. That's it.
So that's our top 10. I'm going to throw one quick question to you before I wrap things up.
Well, I got one I got to throw on the list, but go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead. You go first.
There's one guy
Okay.
during the Attitude Era. He's had 3 or 4 characters. One of the best pops.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Everybody aboard. You got to come on the hoe train for the Godfather.
I love The Godfather.
He's got to be top 10. I'm sorry. He is that gimmick is still.
I could probably squeeze out Bearcat Wright and put Godfather in there.
That he's the only one that I could easily put in this list just because he could work in the ring.
That's 4 nation members in the
It is.
in the list.
And the thing is, he had
Sorry, D'Lo.
He had something with Papa Shango. He hated that gimmick. Fantastic gimmick. The Godfather though,
was him.
true to life.
Yeah.
True to life.
Doesn't he manage a strip club in Vegas?
He
now?
did
He
at one
used
point.
to, yeah.
But the thing is he's a guy on Broken Skull Sessions. That was one of my favorite episodes.
I'll tell you what I was a fan of was the Soul Taker, his gimmick in Memphis
Yeah.
when he was running with the Undertaker.
Yep. And that's the thing. Him and Undertaker have been good friends ever since. That's a guy who could induct the Undertaker.
Oh,
You
that's
should
good.
see The Godfather on the Chris Van Vliet.
You mentioned that to me before. That was a good episode, right?
He talks about his love of weed like it's soda
Oh, yeah.
pop. But
But Chris Van Fleet,
stories-
you're big into that, right? Tell us about that.
what, the Chris Van Vliet?
Yeah.
No, the weed.
I can't tell you much about that other than it's great. All right, so the Chris Van Vliet podcast, it also it interviews wrestlers all the time via Zoom or in person. It's a great show. It's usually 1 or 2 episodes a week.
It's
on
almost as fun as this
YouTube.
one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Almost.
Yeah, almost. I mean, it's just him.
does
I mean, this
Freaky?
is a group, so it's a little bit different.
Almost isn't in your top. Never mind.
But no, Chris Van Vliet,
Edward
he's
James,
a heck of a
almost?
guy to listen to.
He does,
He's out
and I agree
Canada,
with you.
and he now lives in Florida. So, but he's good at his
Half
job.
of the wrestling world, at least, lives in Florida. We've learned this because everywhere we contact
Well,
for
he's
an
not a
interview,
wrestler. He's
Yeah,
an
but
interviewer.
He's a journalist.
but they're still in the wrestling world, right? But everywhere we communicate, we're like,
Not
well,
all. He started
I'm
with
in
a news program.
They're like, I'm in Florida. Can we do this at my time, not yours? We're like, yeah, you're an hour different. We're good.
Right. But
Revan,
he's interviewed that gymnast who only has no legs. You know who I'm
Only
talking about?
has no legs.
Yeah, I was thinking it was a different person, but he has no legs, but he wrestles and he
I know you're talking about. He was in Impact for a bit.
is like
Dustin something.
I seen an article about this the other day, actually. Yeah.
he has a book and
Yeah.
but
I
anyway,
wish I could remember his
that's
name. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
I
but
thought it was
know
like
who you're talking about.
Apollo something. I thought.
Is there any? He's got me thinking though. Is there any African American wrestler who booked better would make your list? Ahmed Johnson is mine. Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton's a damn
Ron
good one.
Killings?
Ron Killings is a good one.
See, Ron easily. Ron, NWA champion.
I'm going to throw an obscure one to you, Monty Brown.
Somebody, I was in a list earlier, and Monty, he's another guy that WWE kind of,
I don't think his heart was in it, though.
No, I don't think so. Ahmed was, I think, his brain was too. He thought too much of himself.
Former Dallas Cowboy, by the
his
way.
ego got the best of him. Ahmed.
Tony Norris. Remember him?
Nope, Mark down. But he was. I mean, they were.
All I had to hear was former Dallas Cowboy. I'm like, that fucker wins.
They were legitimately building him to be something. WCW took Fat Ahmed Johnson and did whatever they did with him. But he's a guy that I remember as a kid thinking he could beat anybody on the roster. He was just so believable.
Yeah. I'll tell you a guy who almost made the list, and I'm kind of regretting not putting him on, Kofi Kingston.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kofi's done so
is he
much.
part of a? He's
Yeah.
part of a tag team, isn't he?
New Day.
Yeah, we
Former,
saw them at the
former
hall.
WWE champion.
Well, and
you know?
they're
Yeah, but
guys
we
like
saw them. Me and him saw them at the hall.
Big E's top 20, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, there's so many guys that could make this list. Your list is fantastic. It really is. I always have questions with it.
Yeah, you're usually not that
Like I said, Godfather was really
positive.
it, and Bearcat Lee I know nothing about, so
right.
that's where I put
Bearcat
the Godfather. Well, whatever. Yeah, Bearcat Lee's the other scrub.
Right.
But Godfather's
Scrub it
it for me just based on impact alone.
Yeah.
So
I love the
New Jack.
fact that every one of us at this table, I believe, agreed. Dwayne Johnson was.
Kyle said Ron Simmons, but he retracted, I think.
he
After.
didn't. Because he didn't think
Yeah,
about
'cause I
that.
didn't-
That's what I'm
I
saying.
thought it was
Yeah.
He didn't
Samoan.
disagree because he disagreed. He disagreed because
Because he didn't-
The parameter was one
Right.
he didn't see. But
yeah.
other than that, do you agree? Dwayne
Yeah,
Johnson,
yeah,
top
for
of the
sure,
pile.
for
I
sure.
agree.
That's fucking awesome, ain't it?
Yep.
I mean, we
good
all
stuff.
agreed.
So we need to tweet The Rock and tell him that he made our list.
I will. I've actually tagged him on Facebook because we keep drinking his fucking tequila.
Bring
So here's something I want to do. I have a challenge for the two of you.
Okay.
Okay. You, Mark, have obviously not been willing to fall out of favor with WWE. You're not really happy with the storylines, but you're not pissed off, but you're still a fan. Narge on the other side is like, fuck these guys. I mean, like,
I
he
deal
watches
with it.
it because he has to, not because he wants to. Here's this, okay? And then we're not going to do this for the next episode. Next episode, we're already doing the meme thing, right? But how about 2 episodes away? Gives you guys time. I want you to come up with the best possible storyline for any one primary wrestler in the WWE. Something that you think would actually make people go, oh shit, I want to watch this. Narge, I challenge you to do the same thing. No AEW.
This
you have
is
to
actually
think
really good.
just WWE. How do we improve their storyline? What would make people give a shit? Because you stopped giving a shit.
Yeah.
I'm, Mike, you
What
make it very clear. It's too predictable, and the storylines are blasé, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? I know what's going on. And Mark, on the other hand, while you haven't agreed with him on that specifically, you've also started to acquiesce the idea that, they could probably do better.
There's no starting to acquiesce. I've thought that for a while.
Right. So both of you come up with independently
it's good.
what you think the best possible storyline. And I mean, if you want to go like whole hog, for this guy, this girl, I don't care. But come up with at least one storyline that you could sell in a 6-month story arc. And I say 6 months because I think WWE has been playing like PPV to PPV.
They play about a month and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That-
And
every
I
6
think
weeks
if you're going to do it right, you have to think long term. You have to think, how do I take this person from where they are to where they should be, and how many people are casualties along the way, and why? And why would people give a fuck? Because let's be honest, people are stopping giving a fuck. I mean, I saw that thread the other day. There are so many people starting to go, I'm getting bored with you people.
What will happen if we have the same thing?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what?
I don't think we will.
If you guys have the same thing, all I say is, Vince, these are your new writers. Because if you have the exact same thing, you both thought the same way as fans, as guys that don't agree with each other all the time.
I
but
have so
you know what
many
I mean?
ideas though, and that's the
Right.
thing. But it'll definitely be, objective because
Right.
we like certain guys. There's guys you like that aren't getting Cesaro, for instance,
Right.
not getting any time. So, but I think it's fun. I like that. I think with
So our
we'll see
March
what the crowd
22nd
says.
episode, March 22nd, because March 8th is next, 14 after that's March 22nd. On our March 22nd episode, Mark and Mike are going to come up with
pre-WrestleMania
a
episode.
storyline
So go home episode.
they think would sell WWE better than Vince is doing right now.
I wanna try to
Dwayne
get a
Carter,
special
I know
guest
you're
that
listening. Dwayne,
What?
I'll tell you what.
I'm gonna try to
If
get
you
as
write
guest.
it up and you tell me you have it, March 22nd, you're our in-studio co-host, and you will be the third leg in this fucking race.
And by the way,
I would love to hear your opinions.
Dwayne also put in Velveteen Dream for the top 10 list.
Velveteen Dream
He
eventually
says just
could have
kidding,
been-
but I don't know if I believe
He
that.
eventually could have been there. He was
Could have been.
fantastic in the ring.
All right. So we're about to say goodbye, but before we do, we do have an announcement to make. Our next episode on March 8th, we do have an interview coming up, and we're actually very excited about it, Nards.
Yes.
We have calling in the Loco Wrestling Heavyweight Champion. He's been with GCW for a while now.
Was it the Hammerstein show?
He was at the Hammerstein show. He was the first challenger for Matt Cardona after he had won the GCW World Title. So we will have a very good young talent, Sam Stackhouse will be
Nice.
calling in and talking to us for a bit.
Yeah, he's an impressive big man.
Yes, very.
He got involved in the Hammerstein match between Janela and Cardona, and a guy his size, take about all three of us, put us together, all
Yeah.
four of us put us together, and did a moonsault.
Does moonsaults. He does a very cool spin kick.
He's awesome.
So what we'll do
If you
over
guys
the,
have a question for this guy, you really do need to DM us. I mean, because the boys here have a lot of questions, but you're listening. So if you have some shit you want to hear this guy talk to,
and what I'll
let us
do
know.
is on the Facebook page over the next couple weeks, I'll be putting YouTube videos of
Yeah, I
his
was gonna
matches
say
up.
share some
That'd be
videos.
awesome.
So you guys
That'd
can
be
kind of get an
awesome.
idea of the guy and see what he's got.
He's
That
a
would be
guy that
awesome.
maybe a lot of you don't know offhand, but he's somebody that maybe you should know
Yeah.
going forward. Yeah, maybe we've brought some big names on. We had Bill Alfonso.
Yeah, we had Alex Colon.
We had Alex Clone, but this is a guy who's up and coming.
Right.
And we've got some other guests we are working on that are well-known names. I told you,
Fingers crossed.
buy the
WrestleMania-
merchandise. As soon as we start selling it, buy
Yes.
it.
that March 22nd show, I'm working on somebody who may have some WrestleMania history.
Uh-oh.
He may be a guy who has been there.
That may be a
I'm working
50-50
on it.
show.
I'm working
That may
on
be
it.
50% these guys' storylines and 50%, oh my God, this is badass.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get him on Local Boy. We'll see what happens. So I'm working on it.
All right. Well, Kyle Reed, thank you very much for hanging
Thank
out
you
with
guys
us.
very much.
Kyle,
We'll have you back.
we usually allow the people that come join us as guest co-hosts and all that to shill whatever the fuck they want. Most of them are selling their next show or their T-shirts or whatever. But you know what? You have a unique position in life. Tell us what you do.
I am a facility manager at Great Value Storage.
And what does that mean to all the people listening?
If anybody needs a storage unit, please come see me on Market Street in Champaign, right over by the mall.
And do so quickly, because if he sells 10 of them in the next month, he's going to give us one for this podcast.
And great value. I mean,
Probably not, but it sounded good.
That's just not a local thing, right? That's
That's
a
all
national
over the
thing.
U.S.
yeah. So anybody listening, go out there, let them know that Kyle Reed in Champaign, Illinois, referred you.
Yep. So, Kyle, thanks for joining us. Marco, as always, great job on the
Not
technical
really.
difficulties.
This fucking computer.
Hey, we
but you
made-
know what? If my kid had not kicked over the entire studio while
That's
he was
true.
sleeping,
Damn it.
Thanks,
that'd have
AJ.
been better.
AJ
Thanks,
flew,
AJ.
AJ flew here just to
AJ
fuck
flew
our
here from
stuff up.
California just to fuck
He's
up the
from Circle
podcast.
6. He's here to sabotage us. Narge, good show as always, buddy.
Fun stuff. Kyle, thank you, sir. Again,
Thank
I'd
you.
love to have you on. We'll have you back. I promise.
Absolutely. So until the next fortnight, we will be here with Sam Stackhouse, and we'll talk about Revolution. Probably talk more about WrestleMania. So
GCW
GCW
Friday.
Yeah, GCW. Yeah, they got
We're talk-
another double shot this weekend.
Friday night, Joey Janela, X-Pac, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers. That's
Yep.
the one I want to talk about.
So
And
we
the
will-
meme challenge is
the meme.
and the meme challenge. Yes.
We've already had a couple of responses, believe it or not.
Oh wow!
Some good ones.
This
do
is
it,
fucking
too.
great.
All right, so until 2 weeks, I'm Redman. That's Nards. That's Marco. And for Kyle, we'll see you guys on the 8th.